Hello, welcome to the Goodfellas Podcast, the podcast where two mates talk absolute nonsense for your entertainment. I'm Shaun.
And I'm Clarke.
This is actually part 2 of our 10th episode. So it is a special episode. It is our 10th episode, so we're really happy we've got to this stage of
twice.
it. Yeah, twice now.
Twice, yeah.
So we actually we did record this last night with our guest.
The one and only, the Cornish pirate beaten, PMA cancer beaten, who wants to be a millionaire, Hawaiian shirt, dwarf, hobbit, Frodo.
Extraordinaire.
That is my dad, Terry Davis.
Hi everyone, nice to meet you.
Yeah, so welcome back again, Terry, for day 2. So like I said, we had some issues last night with audio.
Yeah.
So we actually recorded a longer episode, and we're now re-recording the first part, which we'll then kind of put together with the second part to create the episode.
So the what we recorded yesterday was obviously a really good podcast. When it was 2 hours long, really good.
Very good.
We literally had no audio for the first hour.
Yeah.
Clearly one of those two's fault. So we're re-recording the first bit. It's not going to be we're not reading off of anything. It's going to be natural again.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about sports. And then what we did do was like a Q&A.
Yeah,
but Shaun's changed the questions up, so it's literally going to be...
It's fresher.
Brand new show, actually.
Almost. So it's going to be good. Yeah.
And then we'll tie the episodes together, so it'll be sunny, and then dark, and then, But it is what it is.
Yeah. So as always, we will get into the football and stuff like that. We will present the beer to you. So, as you can see in front of us, for
Before
the people watching...
Again?
That's
right.
I would like
go on.
Yeah.
So, as everyone can see, this is my son. Some of you may not know, this is my godson.
Yeah.
And what I want to say to the pair of you, to be honest with you, first, Clarke, is how proud I am of you as a father to a son.
Yeah.
Watching you grow up with your family, your own children, your own business, what you do and everything else. I just want people to know, as a father, I'm really, really proud.
Thank you.
Also, Shaun, believe it or not, spent a lot of his childhood at our house, and we adopted him like a second son, and we are his godparents.
Godparents,
And we treat him like a second son.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you as well, Shaun, like Clarke, we've watched you grow up with your wife, with Claire and the children, your jobs, your changes and bits and pieces. And I just want you to know that this podcast that you do, what you explain to people, you have a bit of fun and everything else. I'm very, 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 very proud of both of you. And just carry on doing what you're doing because it is bloody good.
Yeah,
No,
thanks,
And
Dad.
you make me laugh.
Yeah,
So that's it. That's my bit over.
Yeah,
thanks,
I suppose the
Dad.
only thing I forgot to reset is there's a reason, like you said, this is our 10th episode, so we've got a guest, and this is something we're going to start doing a lot more of now. So probably every 4 or 5 episodes potentially we're going to be having guests coming on.
Yeah.
It's something which we've always wanted to kind of do, not just us talking every week, but bring someone else in, different life experiences, different jobs,
Different dynamic.
different
You don't know what
scenarios.
the person's going to say, do you?
Yeah.
We hope it's something that you, the listeners and viewers, will enjoy as well.
Especially after, obviously, last night when we were recording it, we had a great time.
It was brilliant.
It was really good. It was quite a nice dynamic, and it was quite nice. Obviously, you're my dad, so I know you every aspect, but it was just like we were at a bar, wasn't it?
Yes.
And just having a really good chat.
Yeah, we finished last night, and I went home buzzing because to me it was like an evening out with these two, chatting about whatever it was that we chatted about and everything else, and it was really, really nice. And to be honest with you, it's something that I said towards the end. You could take this into bars and pubs, blokes, to help, because we didn't have it on yesterday's segment, but we start a little bit here, where we talked about. We're in construction. You're your own business. You're in construction, and one of the things in construction with men is mental health issues, suicide, and everything else.
It's the number one killer.
It is, and I think that if there was an outlet like this in different cities and places where you could go and listen. Maybe talk shit. Or
offload.
It is,
Offload. Yeah.
Like what we do every week. Yeah.
It would certainly help people. And
Yeah.
I thought it was brilliant last night.
Yeah.
Really good.
No, same. Very. And like I said, we normally jump onto the beers. So before we get into it, I did present these beers to the chaps last night, which is called a Berliner Kindle. which is a very nice beer.
Has a hobbit in a stein.
We enjoyed it. We will tell you the ratings we gave it last night later.
Yeah.
And you can also see, if we just move those out of the way, there's also 4 bottles of beer here, which at the end of the episode we explain
We do
a bit more.
say.
But there's a reason
Europe,
for these.
Just in case you're wondering where we got them from.
By the
Beers
way.
of Europe.
Yeah, our code will be in our socials. It'll be on our links and everything. Any beers you want to buy or any other drinks, go to Beers of Europe / Goodfellas Podcast CS. Oh,
Well,
He's remember that, yeah. So just for reference, we've got an Alhambra here, we've got a Westmalle, we've got a Flensburger Gold, and we've got a Lime Lager. And Terry did say last night that he was going to double it, so we would go for 8 beers.
Yeah.
So the competition will now change to 8.
8.
You can do it on our Instagram page when we get into it. Like I said, the second half episode, we explain it more.
I will say from personal experience, those 2 are unbelievably delectable.
They are good.
But yes,
But you can win.
sadly not. But
I've sent in 10,000 because I
but I can rig it.
So round 2, obviously, I have to present you another beer
Such a shame. What
I know you
a
know.
shame.
Well, we can't have a podcast without a beer.
from Germany. Terry, I present to you the Sion.
See?
It looks
Very
nice. It looks nice. I
Wow.
feel like that's
It's
going to
a
And
be...
the same for you.
Yeah,
Posh
cheers,
right
Tom.
there and everything else.
It does look really smart. What would you say? Not really a logo, it's just a font.
No, it's
isn't it, really?
got some sort of
Yeah,
like
but it's
cathedral at the back or
very
something,
nice,
maybe.
isn't it?
Looks
isn't it?
smart.
And what date is that? Because I haven't got my glasses.
That is...
Does it not say?
No.
No.
Not even on the font?
No.
We'll
Oh,
bring
right.
some facts out later.
Well, that's a little bit of a...
That's a 4.8%. There you go.
Oh, is
Yeah.
it? Oh, thank you. Right.
Yeah, it looks like it could be a softer beer. I don't know why I think that. Pour off. Dad and Sean massively lost this yesterday.
Oh, I don't think so, son.
It's all about. You could have had a flake in yours last night.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
know.
but mine kept rising as well.
Yeah. I've done better today, though. I've done
And
better
I suppose,
today.
but no, you know.
Oh, well done.
Yeah.
Well done.
Cheers,
Yeah.
everyone.
Cheers, and that's
Cheers.
first sip
Cheers
as
for
always.
yours. Cheers.
Nice golden sort of crisp hops, yeast, barley, eggs.
As always. So yeah, it's definitely a nice. It's a nice colour to it, and I said that is a nice, refreshing, crisp taste as well.
Oh, that's a nice
Yeah, that's,
beer, that is. Whoa.
Kolna Chukkolta. That's so good, isn't
I
it?
didn't know.
Italian?
I didn't know it was Japanese. I was going to say.
Yeah, well,
That's nice.
That was very nice and refreshing. I
In
like
case you
that.
didn't know, Beers of Europe.
Yes, cheers.
Yeah,
That is very nice.
I like it. I love.
Yeah.
I love the look of the bottle as well.
Yeah.
It looks sleek, smart, nice design. That's very nice.
It is very good.
I'll
isn't
put
it?
that.
So,
For anyone
recap on the sports. Okay, so
Yes.
I said it to you last night again, and I'll say it again today.
Yeah,
So it was a bit of a mixed week for you guys in terms of football.
it was
but,
certainly a high,
yeah.
and then
Then
yeah,
crashing down again yesterday.
yeah,
And we talked about it a little bit, but let's talk about it again. So that Thursday night, Europa League against Lyon, you're sitting pretty, so you're 2-0 up.
yeah.
They get a player sent off.
Yeah.
They get 2 goals back. They
Yeah.
take it to extra time.
Yeah,
And
they
they
get-
score 2 goals in extra time to make it 4-2 in aggregate.
I know.
And you're almost down and out. And we said, you've got Ferdinand on a commentary,
Commentary.
talking about fans are leaving the stadium already and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then, do you guys want to explain what happened? Obviously.
Well, yeah. You crack on first.
Well, I was watching it. Well, I stopped watching it when they scored the penalty to go 4-2.
Yeah.
And
It seemed done and
It
dusted.
did. It did.
Yeah.
And then sort of, was I going to go to bed or not? And then Jane, my wife, said, "Oh, I'm watching this." So I thought, "Oh, well, let's go back in. I'll be tortured a little bit
Yeah,
more."
yeah.
And I have to say, it's the most craziest 7 minutes of football
Honestly.
that I've seen in my life, and it's even more so than 92 when 99.
99.
99, sorry, when United won.
Well, that
2-1.
was 2 minutes.
That,
3
yeah, that was
minutes
2
of
minutes.
crazy.
But so
amazing. But
So basically, they've scored, they've come back. We then get the penalty. Bruno scores, picks the ball up, goes back, and then you can hear Rio all through the sort of extra time
Yeah.
was just saying that United was bad.
understandably.
Understandably.
Yeah.
But when they scored the goal, he couldn't obviously shout out or anything because he's got to be neutral. But he's in the box
Yeah,
shouting and this and everything else. So then his comment said is Manu and Maguire, Why are they going to be the forwards? They should have kept forwards and all that.
Yeah.
And then who scores the 2 goals? The little
Mainu with the
beautiful
shot.
And he done that
Thierry
earlier in the year.
Henry-esque.
It was. He done that earlier in the year, and you're thinking no.
Yeah.
And then Maguire, and I said yesterday, and I'll say it again, and I want it on the record to say that he got lambasted at the end of last season, the beginning of the season.
He's been lambasted, and before that.
And before that. And he could have gone, he could have took the easy way out, but he didn't. He stayed, he worked hard, and I couldn't have thought of a better footballer at Man United to have scored the winner.
Yeah.
And it was brilliant.
Yeah, and I was going to say, which I didn't say when we were talking about it before, but I will say today, is there was people making YouTube compilation videos of his mistakes.
Yeah.
And rightfully so for a lot of it, he was bad. But I have never seen a 180, excuse me, delicious beer, like Maguire.
Yeah, no, true.
He has done his talking on the pitch.
Yeah.
He's doing really well. He looks solid again.
Yeah.
And like, as an aerial threat going forward.
Yeah.
Size of his head.
Didn't he? Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Like we said, didn't we? You've got Højlund and you've got Xerxes. You've spent big money on both those players.
Yeah.
If they were on that pitch at that time as well, do you think you scored those 2 goals?
No, probably not.
No.
Do you think you get one of them? Yeah. Do you think one of them curls that in there, and do you think one of them wins that header?
I couldn't guarantee.
Look at the game yesterday for Wolves.
Yeah.
He had 2 chances.
Yeah.
On goal.
Yeah.
And didn't put them in.
Yeah.
So,
but that's what goes to what you're saying as well. Is we haven't got an out-and-out recognised striker who's getting the goals.
No.
So him putting Mainu and Maguire up, Rio can't really talk.
No.
Because the strikers aren't proving it.
So then that goes back to that question
and it proved.
Yeah.
Right.
And that goes back to the question of you've spent big money on them to be a striker.
I know.
So is the scouting system wrong there? Obviously it's not Ruben Amorim because he didn't bring those players in. The manager before him make a mistake, or someone else make his mistakes.
It's not the scouting.
Someone's made a mistake to bring him in, and they've just not adapted.
Listen, it's been a long time, but if we go back the last 18 months, Man United, what's been happening there with Pogba and all the rest and the stuff, and the players were in charge, not the management. The backroom staff weren't in charge and stuff and everything. So this season, we are where we are. We've got a chance of getting into Champions League if we can beat Bilbao. But I think next year you see a lot of changes. He's already said the last few games of this season now, because he knows we can't go down. He's bringing the youngsters in. He played 4 yesterday. Under the age of 19.
Yeah.
And he knows he's got a hard job to do. And like you said, don't judge me this season, because he didn't want to come.
No, he can't be judged.
No.
And the difference is, I think it'd be the same for like us as well this season, because obviously the PSR has obviously come in. It's impacted a lot of teams.
Yeah.
Like, we got took over by the Saudis. We've had a lot of money. They're the richest owners in the world, but they can't spend the money.
You're saying that you bought the trophy, really? You didn't win it on merit.
Yeah. We haven't spent the money to do it. Whereas Chelsea, like you said, Chelsea have obviously got a system. They've gone away and they've spent the money. And we said the other week, they've built like 4 teams. But
I know.
I think that 3-year cycle is over now. So Amorim coming in now, hopefully in the summer, a bit like what we'll have with Eddie Howe.
Yeah. They
should have the money to spend in excess of 100 million. So if he needs to get a couple of players,
they will have
and offload a few.
Do you know what I hope?
They will.
They'll definitely offload quite a few. But do you know what I hope is the players that he wants? I hope they've already been identified and people are talking to him now.
Yeah.
I don't want to get to August and the season is starting, and which we've done quite a few times over the seasons. And we haven't got a striker, we haven't got this, and then when we go in, that's why we paid 72 million for Højlund.
Yeah.
Because we needed a striker. It was valued at 50.
Everyone
we wanted something.
Also, it's Man United and that.
Yeah.
You get tax,
Yeah, we do get Man United tax, but it is what it is. What was the question that you just led on from that? Because I was going it's definitely not the scouting.
Yeah.
Because it seems like every bloody player that comes to United, more often than not, the second they go anywhere else,
they play.
Or before, I'm telling you now, like Sanchez, Di Maria.
Yeah.
There's so many players that have done that. It just seems to be a bit of a graveyard. But
look at your most recent one, Anthony.
Yeah.
He's gone to Real Betis.
Yeah.
Unbelievable at the moment.
Exactly.
And the Scots guy.
McTominay at Napoli.
Look at him at Napoli.
He scored 2 the other week outside the box, and they were wonder goals.
It has to be the pressure.
Yeah.
It has to be. What else?
And it's a big pressure. It's a bit, like I said, it's one of the biggest clubs in the world.
Well,
regardless,
it's top 3.
Regardless of
it's top
what they've
3.
won recently, they
It's
are.
top 3.
Yeah, they're different.
They are.
Yeah, they're there.
Yeah.
You know, you go like around the world in
It's
Asia,
Madrid,
or Europe, and that.
United, Barcelona.
You could buy those shirts. People are wearing them and stuff like that.
Yeah.
At the moment,
They're
go
not.
down. You ain't wearing Newcastle
you go to
shirts anyway and
Spain.
stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
but you
you've
go
got
to
that
Spain.
presence.
You go to Spain, and obviously you get your Real Madrid, Barcelona, but you got your Man City.
Yeah.
You got your Aston Villa. You got your Chelsea. And you got your. Very rare do you see a United shirt.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, not at all.
However, like
Got
I've,
down a lot, yeah.
yeah, of
years.
course, because however they are. But I've seen like you watch videos on TikTok and stuff that are viral, and especially in Africa, still they have got United tops, United tops, United tops.
Yeah.
So I mean,
So obviously it was really good.
And then, like I said yesterday,
It's just standard United this season in the league.
That's it.
you're not going to get relegated. You're going to end up finishing between 10th and 18th or wherever it is, that kind of position.
mad, isn't
I
it?
know.
It's
That's
the
mad, isn't it?
worst season in Man United's history.
But like we said as well, is you could go and beat Atletico, Tottenham could go and win their semi-final, you could both be in the final, and whoever wins that will get Champions League football.
Yeah.
But imagine if
And you could finish
we
15th
win
in the
that,
league.
our season has gone from, say, obviously A to an F, like grading. It's about an E, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
That could go to a B.
Just by winning.
Because it's Champions League.
But also,
100%,
from
yeah.
a financial point of view,
Wow.
in the paper this morning, because you wouldn't have known this, but last night I do see I'm one of the rare few people that read papers.
Yeah.
They reckon that if Man United win that, that's worth 100 million to them.
At least.
You know,
at least.
with
yeah.
the prize money they get now,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
to
yeah,
play
yeah.
all those
Yeah,
games.
yeah.
Because again, the system has changed now in Champions League, where they're playing 8 matches, is it?
Well,
Oh,
it's like
12.
it's not the individual groups.
No,
anymore,
that's what I'm
it's
saying.
League,
So
isn't it?
it's about 8 matches that they play.
Yeah, it might even
so
be
the revenue,
more.
you know.
Yeah, it's a
so
lot.
from that, so you can see why winning that.
But attracting
But-
players.
and it
as well.
will.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you
But,
can't blame players not wanting to play at the
Of course you
highest level
can.
Champions League.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
stuff
like
and everything else.
regardless if you're Real Madrid, but say they didn't finish Champions League, I know it's not going to happen. You're going to be like, no thanks.
Yeah.
I want to play in the best competition.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
So you had that, like obviously.
Yeah.
I actually want to talk about Champions League. Actually, now we've just mentioned that, which is different. We didn't talk about it last night, but we'll talk about it now. You just mentioned that. Obviously, we said about Champions League, and obviously it's obviously like a different system now. So, what are your thoughts on that? Because you used to go from Group A to Group H. There's like 8 groups that go in it,
I actually really
and
like
4, and it's like top 2 would go through to knockouts. Whereas now it's one big
it.
league.
I actually really like it.
And if you finish like between a certain position, you go straight through.
Yeah,
If
but
not, you got to do a
You've
playoff.
still got a chance.
Yeah. No matter
Yeah.
what, you've always got a
But the
potential
league
chance.
thing is quite good because up to a point you can see like, oh look, they've come above Barcelona.
Yeah.
They come above Madrid. It's quite exciting.
Yeah, no, it is very
and then
exciting.
you still get the knockout.
I think there was a lot of like, oh, how's that going to work? Because you're changing something which has always been there.
And it's been good.
No one likes change.
No. Like when
We
VAR
will-
came in and things like that.
Yeah, but not only that, you put it in
Yeah.
your day-to-day life. Someone turns around and says, well, you've got to do this, you've got to do that. Oh, why are we doing that?
Yeah.
Because someone has thought it is a better
Yeah.
idea. And we can
more
all
games.
remember the players.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about money as well.
Yeah.
But when they said they were bringing it, more teams, more. But in actual fact, you're right, Clark.
Yeah.
It's exciting. And the other thing is, you got the matches that you wanted because when they had it in the tables.
Yeah.
So if Real Madrid was against
Yeah.
Rangers
Yeah.
and
Shakhtar Donetsk,
Shakhtar,
yeah.
whatever,
Yeah.
you knew that Real
gonna
Madrid would be top.
stomp
No
it.
disrespect to the
Now
other
they
teams.
have to play the
But
top
now
teams as
look
well,
at-
yeah.
Well, look at
know,
Real Madrid. They
yeah.
barely got
They
through.
just got through. They straight through.
It's so exciting.
It is good.
It is really good.
I do like it. I do like it.
Yeah.
I agree.
I mean, don't really want to talk about my team too much.
I was just about to say, let's bring it back to the Premier League.
So, like we said yesterday, it wasn't a good performance for us against Villa on Saturday night. I just think it was a catch-up. You know, we obviously
It was
beat
2
Man
things,
United.
wasn't it? It was 2 things.
beat Palace, and then obviously we've We've obviously, it was just a little bit too much. It was 1-1, and then about 60th minute, we just tired legs or something like that. They scored 3 quick goals. I'm not taking away from Villa because
You were also hitting an informed Villa.
I was just going to say, Villa were on a high, mate.
After the PSG game, they wanted to bounce back.
Arsenal were the same.
Yeah.
Apparently, Arsenal, I know that Ipswich had a player sent off
but still,
for a bad time. But
they were
saying
them.
the tempo that they were playing at was... So Villa was the same probably
and
for you.
Yeah, we mentioned it. They've got the front six, we said
brilliant.
They're brilliant, and they were good. Ollie Watkins started, we said he showed his frustrations not being played recently or being started. He's been starting Rashford more and stuff, but, you know, Ollie Watkins, we know how good he is when he plays for England, and how good he is for Villa anyway, like last season, you know. I know he's always in your fantasy football team.
Well,
I reckon he'll start against PSG.
Not
PSG, sorry, they're playing... they're playing Barcelona.
No, Villa out.
Villa out.
Knocked
of course they are. Sorry.
Yeah.
Cut that bit.
No, that's right. That's right. Yeah, they're right. Yeah.
No. But I know what you said. He's playing really well now, and I still believe. And we said this. I think we said this as well when we were watching it in Spain. Had he played all the games for England,
yes,
we could have come out winners.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I remember like the Netherlands game. I was at the pub,
I know,
and you're watching it, and we're all like, "Oh, he's playing Harry Kane. Like he always looked injured or tired or something."
Fucking injured.
You bring Watkins on, he makes that run down the channel. Ball comes in from Palmer.
It's a goal.
What a finish!
Yeah.
You know, and it's just like,
and that was Palmer as well.
So if he had been
should have been started as well.
Playing the whole season, the whole game, what a difference!
100%.
A whole difference.
But also like. Obviously, you play Kane normally.
Yeah.
And Watkins.
Oh, don't get me wrong, like.
But Kane was quite clearly injured. We all said
it.
But Kane should have been the bigger man and gone to and said, I'm not well.
But
it's just not his decision. It's going to be Gareth was going to say.
You never know. He might have said that, but also part of him was going to be like, but if I can just do something.
I mean, I'd always keep Kane, like, I get it. If you get a penalty, Kane 9 times out of 10 is going to score a penalty.
And also,
and he's always in the right spot.
One of the best players in the world for the last 4 years.
Yeah, he didn't have a good season this season, does he? He
still
scored some goals.
Goal and assist. He's number 1.
Oh, is he?
He's number 1.
Oh, wow.
So he was number 1 in the Bundesliga as well.
It's the Bundesliga.
Before Marmoush left. Marmoush was second behind him, which is why Man City bought Marmoush in January. But Kane was always above him as well.
Was he?
And did he not? He broke Lewandowski's record.
I think he has,
He broke Lewandowski's record for goals and assists in a single season.
Oh, wow. Within
a couple of years. He's doing brilliant. It was just a shame he got injured.
Yeah.
Because had he been fit, the Kane that was playing for Bayern, we could have won it as well. Yeah. But anyway, it is what it is.
Yeah,
but anyway, you lost 4-1. You got destroyed, dominated, destroyed.
I'm trying to help you out, you're sure.
I know. No, it's fine.
Away, you know?
I had it the other week.
All it's done is it's made that Champions League spots now. Now we've got the extra spot.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Bit nervous for me because I still want us to retain it and keep it. We're still third. We're still third at the moment.
Oh right, okay.
And we're home to Ipswich next week, which I'd like to think we can win.
Yeah.
We have got some tough games coming up. We've got like an Arsenal and Chelsea game coming up soon, and Bright. But yeah, so it is what it is. Obviously.
Well, we can help you the last game of the season. I doubt it, but we could.
Yeah.
We got Aston Villa.
Home.
Well, there you
go.
Okay. Yeah,
it could well come down to.
It could come down to things like that.
Yeah.
So. I think that's kind of like football.
Yeah.
I think we touched yesterday. We touched a bit more on the other matches that went through them, but yesterday we hadn't quite concluded the F1. You looked at it; it was near the end.
Yeah.
Well, Piastri won it.
Yeah. It was. Yeah.
And I've rewatched the highlights today, and clearly for me, and it's my opinion, clearly Verstappen is wrong.
Yeah.
He thinks Piastri's pushed him out.
He's such a whinger.
But he had to give Piastri had won the corner and give it to him, and he moaned about it. And then they did the 5 seconds minute into a pit.
Yeah.
So he went into the pit, and you could watch them. They obviously have to wait 5 seconds
Sorry,
before they
who
can
did
change
they
tyres.
penalise?
Verstappen.
Okay.
Verstappen. But he was moaning all the way through the show this morning.
So he was
bitching like he always does. And everything.
Yeah, and all right, fair enough. You're going to try and defend your situation. You're going to think it, but the stewards, and even when it happened, the commentator at the time said he hasn't got a right to win that corner. Like, Piastri's clearly won it. He should pull off.
Yeah, but isn't the commentator? What's his name?
I know who you're on about.
Mark. It's not Mark.
Brundle, whatever his
Brundle, Martin Brundle.
Martin Brundle, yeah.
Ex-driver, and he is like, everyone really respects him as like, what am I trying to say? In the F1.
Yeah.
Well, like knowledge and everything, yeah.
He's like a pioneer.
Yeah.
In that, like, with his knowledge.
Yeah, so he said it, and then like I watched highlights, and you see him, he pulls in, they back changes tyres, they have to wait 5 seconds and then they can take the tyres off. Now, obviously, it affected him. He still finished second.
Yeah.
Piastri came first, obviously, which is great, and he's now in the lead of the championship.
Yeah.
Because Norris had a few mistakes, which
But he
cost
did
him a
well,
little
didn't
bit. He did well in the end, but
Yeah.
he still obviously lost
Yeah.
his place where he was top.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, I reread Hamilton today, and there's a little bit. It's weird because he's saying like Charles Leclerc has obviously used that car a lot longer, so he understands it a bit better. But he said when you look at the stats, Hamilton's saying like
He's
they're
higher
not-
in the table.
They're not they're not that much different in terms of like the car stats and how they run it. But since that China one where he won the sprint,
Yeah.
he can't get anywhere near him now. And he's like, he actually come out and he said, because I think this is going to be a struggle for the rest of the season.
Oh, no.
And he's saying he clearly thinks that they're doing something right. Because I suppose I've never knew this before. I thought it was one team.
No.
But they have
Two
one
teams,
team for
yeah.
each car.
It's not.
Yeah.
So he's
It's
thinking
not.
that Leclerc's team have obviously got something sorted right for his driving.
Yeah.
And Hamilton's that. And maybe Hamilton might be thinking about he might change the way he drives a little bit, potentially.
Yeah, but
to do it.
But don't you think that someone in Ferrari, we've got this car going, why don't we help Hamilton because he's our other car? Because then as Ferrari, we could have two cars out. Why penalise? I don't understand that.
I don't know if they're pieces. I don't know if it's just like, I don't know.
I also
weird.
think I'm sure there's a part of it in F1 where the teams, they will almost compete against each other.
Yeah, they do. They have done.
Oh, yeah,
Obviously,
yeah.
collectively, if a
Yeah.
Ferrari wins, they're happy.
Yeah.
But if their drivers won, they're like, just that little.
Well,
you
you
can
would-
imagine
yeah.
get more
Yeah.
bonus, probably.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know, whatever.
Yeah, so that was interesting.
So isn't
anyway.
it? It's Piastri, Norris, Verstappen, Russell.
I think
Yeah,
so.
it's
In
the
the
table.
championship, yeah.
Come
So it's
on,
gonna
the
be good.
Brits.
It's
Come
gonna
on,
be-
the Brits.
Yeah, two Brits in the top four. So that's good.
And then something we didn't have last night.
You enjoyed that, did you?
Glass.
Well, you only got one. You can't have any more. You know?
Yeah, something we didn't have last night we recorded is we've got the sun.
Yeah.
Okay,
This is
and
nice.
this is glorious weather to
Yes.
play golfing. And we talked about it a little bit, and I want to
Oh,
talk about it
yeah.
again. The last episode, our ninth
McIlroy.
episode, we talked about the Masters. And it
McIlroy.
wasn't quite concluded. But as everyone would know, if you don't know, McIlroy went and won the Masters.
He went and done it.
He is now
DeChambeau and then Justin Rose in the playoff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, like we said, either one. I would love Rose to win it because being an
Yeah.
English player.
Yeah.
But someone on this side of the Atlantic, is it Atlantic?
Well,
yeah.
He's
just
Irish, but
Yeah. But anyone on this side would like to have won it, and like you said, McIlroy, and that emotion he let out.
Northern Ireland, so he's British. So
no,
that's
he's Irish.
good.
Anyway,
He's in Northern Ireland, so he's British.
is he in Northern Ireland?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can check it, but
Yeah.
I think you're both
just
really wrong.
I suppose the emotion he let out
Put it out there now.
was great. I
Yes.
thought.
Oh, yeah.
And it got me feeling, like I said, he's the sixth person only ever to win the Grand Slam,
Yeah.
all the majors. Again, I mean, I won't go through them all again, but what you win when you win the Masters, I remember explaining it last night.
Yeah.
It is incredible. You get, the money, the trophy, the
Yeah,
exemptions
you're right.
and stuff.
Northern
like that.
Irish.
The exemptions you
So
get.
British.
It's the locker, the dinner, the coming back every year. The,
Yeah, the brooch
wasn't it?
and the
Masters, like the Champions Range.
Yeah,
which
yeah.
are
It's
it
just
look
like-
from the photos, it's
Yeah.
literally the most picturesque trees and the most picturesque grass
It
ever.
must be unbelievable to be there.
I mean, like,
and
could
play
you
that.
imagine someone maybe not at the top of their game going and winning a Masters, and what that would do to them? Like, obviously, it's amazing for McIlroy to win it, obviously, and he's on top of his game.
I think at the end of the day, we said it, didn't we?
Yeah.
The Open is obviously the first major and it's very prestigious, but
Yeah.
the green jacket, you can just see when they put it on.
They
It's
make
just
a
like,
bit more of it, don't they, and
Yeah,
stuff. Typical Yankees,
yeah,
but it is
brilliant
nice.
though.
But brilliant, yeah. Not
and I
taken
just
away
think
from
you
them,
see,
you know?
and I've seen some interviews in the past, like, I finally got the green jacket.
Yeah.
I finally got the green jacket, and just feel like you were at one point the peak of billions.
And like you said,
Yeah.
what was good also, I didn't know, is they get a replica of the actual
Yeah.
cup, which is
Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
Really
You
good.
know, and I'm just wondering,
Yeah.
out of the other three majors, I wonder if they do the same as well.
You would like to think
You'd like
so,
to think so,
but
wouldn't
not
you?
sure.
You know?
And what I was going to say is, on from this, which I didn't say yesterday, who is the greatest golfer of all time?
But we talked about it the other week when we spoke about it, and I would say Tiger Woods.
Yeah, I would say I'm not as well up in golf as you two,
Yeah.
from a knowledge point of view, but if I had to say over the last 20, 25 years, I'd have to say Tiger Woods.
And
I
there's
really,
only
really
two
would.
in the conversation: Tiger Woods and Jack Nicklaus.
Yeah.
The only two.
Yeah.
And like, obviously, I didn't really watch a lot of Nicholas, but obviously he was amazing.
Oh, unbelievable.
But some of the things you've seen Tiger Woods do with a golf ball, you're just like, how the fuck?
Well, he got asked. I actually saw it today. He actually got asked what was his best ever shot. And obviously, I mentioned to you the other week, the shot he does. I think I might be wrong. It's a 15th or 16th on Augusta, and it went over to the left of that green, and he's got a bit of rough there, and he's on he's on like the kind of like small rough or fringe here, and he has to kind of chip up onto that bank, and then it rolls down. Remember that one?
In my opinion, that's the best shot he's ever done. But that's not his best shot.
His one is from
over
the bunker.
tree.
Yeah.
Sorry. It's not over the tree, is it?
No, he said it's he's in a bunker and he gets a free iron out.
Oh yeah.
And he absolutely, and he said he's imagine a bunker's like here, so his feet are right up against the lip of the bunker, and he's got that, and he's on a down.
That's
and
right.
He gets a free iron at that, and it goes massively on the green like that, and rolls around and stuff, and that. It's an unbelievable shot.
Is it?
Yeah, unbelievable.
Sorry, the one I was on about is what golfers voted the best shot. It wasn't the chip. It wasn't what you said. It was Tiger. He was down on like this. It was like uphill. It must have been about 20 or 30 foot. You couldn't see the green, but there was a massive tree there. And I think this is where the Tiger line came from.
Okay.
I'm going to play the Tiger line, which obviously almost anyone can't do.
Yeah.
But it was like to the right of that as well, and the caddy was just
I've
like
had a few goes at the time.
yeah, you have, haven't you?
Yeah, best like not come up.
It's
Yeah.
not my board is gone. It's
Just
my
like that,
club that's ended up.
Yeah, but the caddy said, he was like, when Tiger gets quiet, that's when I have the most confidence in him.
Yeah.
When he's not asking me anything, I know he knows what he's going to do, and it was something like that. And it was like 290 yards. No, sorry, it was about 220 odd yards. And he used a 7-iron.
Wow.
And he got it onto the green.
That's incredible, yeah.
Round the tree, over the tree. I saw it and I was just like, it's like a wizard.
Yeah.
Moving the ball. Yeah, amazing.
It's unbelievable. I mean, actually, we didn't touch on it last night, but like in terms of caddies, like the relationship they must form, because obviously they get a percentage cut, obviously from the earnings and stuff like that, but that trust they have to have as a player into the caddy, because obviously the caddies go out early in the morning, they assess the course, right? We know the hole's been here today, they put there.
They go out, don't they?
They have their books, they check out, and you see them, don't they? Stand next to you, oh, what do you think? Well, I think you might go with your gap wedge here or something like that, it's 140.
Yeah.
Go for a draw, go for a fade stuff, and then the player's like, okay, we'll trust you.
Yeah.
And, obviously it comes off. But I wonder, like, on the flip side, when they don't hit the shot right or it comes short on that, do they judge it on themselves, the player?
Yeah.
Because they're the one taking the shot, or would they reflect it a little bit on the kind of...
unless the distance is way off, I don't see how you can't blame yourself.
Because you're the one taking the shot.
If the distance is way off, they're like, well, you said that club, it should have been in that.
Yeah, but you know what happens? You walk back and say, well, that's $2,000 out of your pocket.
Just take out,
So you've already lost $6,000 on this round already, mate.
But also, I can imagine that the caddy will say this so long, and it works, and they're like, well, you know what you're talking about, don't you?
Yeah,
well, exactly.
Oh,
Well, one of the facts that we talked about last night, and I want to say it again because I found it fascinating. There's a house on the entrance to Augusta.
Oh, yeah.
This old lady lives there, and she's lived there all her life and everything else.
Yeah.
And there are other houses there, and they've been bought, they've been knocked down and all that.
Yeah.
But she lives there. And the house is worth around about $1 million, it was, and everything else. And so far, they've offered her $25 million.
Yeah.
Incredible.
And she has said, no.
Fair play.
My family can do what they want to do when I'm gone.
Yeah.
But this is my home.
Yeah.
This is my house.
Yeah.
And I'm staying here.
Yeah, fair
and I don't
play.
blame her because
No, we said we respect that massively,
her garden looks over 2 or 3 of them
Honestly.
things and stuff. And she's out there
Honestly.
and stuff and everything else.
Yeah.
And then the other fact that I said to you is that as soon as it finished this year, they are building a underground car park.
Yes.
So that the players and their caddies can drive straight in with the cars, and they're refurbishing the lockers out and all that. So that would be amazing to see what they do with that, because
really
they spend the money.
I bet as well that'll feel like a Bond film where you go like down the
doors will open, or if they drive through the golf ball.
It will be
golf ball. Smoke comes out.
Fireworks, proper American vibe.
That'd be good, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So that was kind of it really on the sports. So I wanted, like we said, you mentioned it earlier, I wanted to do a bit of a fun, quick Q&A.
Yeah.
We did one last night. And
Very quick, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was quick, I know. But I thought, well, we'll redo it, and I've got some different questions. So
That's
I'll
good.
pose them. I think it keeps it a bit more fresh. So you're not answering the same questions as much as you did yesterday.
So would you like to do that and we end on that, or do you want to end on the beer?
I think we could end on the beer review. Yeah, I think we'll do the Q&A.
Yeah, fine.
Yeah.
And with that, so if you bear with me, I will...
Bear with us, caller. We'll be back with you
Momentarily.
in the meantime, we have got advertisement from Beers of Europe. So remember to go to their site.
Yeah, use our affiliate link. We're, like I said, we said last week, we're really happy that we've now partnered with Beers of Europe.
Yeah, very grateful.
We've got a link and you can use it. And this is only the start, and we will be doing a lot more.
Be a lot
If we
more.
have a summer like this with the sun shining,
The beers are going to be
Beers of
flowing.
Europe.
I mean, look at the sun out there. Delectalonius.
we do get it. We do
get it.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So, I will be looking down, but I've got the questions here. So I'm going to go through them. You can go quick. You can give an explanation if you want to. We'll talk about it and stuff like that. Okay.
Dance.
I don't know if you all do, but coffee or tea?
Oh, tea.
Coffee. I know you don't drink either, so...
I do.
I can have
care.
both, to be honest with you.
I'm more of a coffee in the morning.
Yeah.
And I'm getting to the point now, I'm like, I've got a grinder, but I want to get a bean to cup machine.
What's that? An app grinder?
Yeah, that's not my app.
Claire, are you aware of this?
But yeah, so I'm grinding the beans down at the moment, but I want to get the one where you get the machines, like, about 500, 600 quid. You put beans in, it does.
But they make like the best coffee.
Yeah, it's good. A bit like what you get when you go to an actual coffee shop.
Yeah.
I'm not really a hot drink person, but
you're
when
not.
I have drank it, the one I've always loved is cappuccino.
Cappuccino, okay.
I do love a
Coffee, yeah.
cappuccino, but no, not really.
Yeah.
You don't. I must admit, it's coming from a tea house. 'Cause
I know.
We've always had tea and
You and
stuff,
Mum, like-
and then everything else,
Yeah.
and I could have 10, 12, 15 cups a day.
Yeah.
But yeah, you've never
No,
really got
weird.
into your hot drinks at all.
Yeah, it's surprising, isn't it?
I have to check your birth certificate.
But yeah, so
I hated hot drinks.
Yeah.
I can be either as well. But sweet or savoury?
Sweet. I love rice pudding.
Okay, I'm savoury.
Savoury, there's just so much savoury. But imagine pizza, fish and chips, like all the savoury stuff.
pasta.
I do like sweet.
See, I jumped in and
You did.
both.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like
yeah,
nice crisp
Yeah,
or nice
yeah.
whether cheese on toast with the Warburton sauce.
Oh, yeah, no, nice. Yeah,
In
I
the
do
oven.
like
Worcester
both.
sauce.
Worcestershire sauce, sorry.
yeah.
Warburton's.
Yeah, what's
bread sauce.
Hey, send it
Yeah.
Might be the next
Make your own
advert.
Worcestershire Warburton's Worcestershire whatever sauce.
sauce?
I jumped in there, yeah, I would be both.
both? Okay,
yeah,
that's
bit
fine.
both, yeah.
Yeah.
It's either or, okay. Mountains or beach? Mountains or beach?
Oh, beach.
Okay.
I like swimming.
I'm going to go... I like beach, but I'm going to go mountains.
Beach every day of the week.
Yeah.
You would be...
Every day of the week. There's something about, I love a hike, we've done hikes, but something about going in the sea on a beach.
Swimming, watching the waves.
Yeah.
You can walk along and you got the little pools and there's different things. Walking out the hills, you got the cow shit, the goat shit, and everything else.
It's like you get all
that,
to see
you
the
know?
goats and everything. It's all colder up there.
I do love a
hard
walk,
work,
but
yeah.
the beach is just
No,
the sea,
it-
for the
it
sea.
would be the beach.
For the
Yeah,
sea,
definitely.
yeah.
A book or movie?
Oh, moving.
Yeah, I think I'd be movies.
Yeah.
as
You're
well.
saying that.
Yeah.
I do like a good
You,
book
if you had
sometimes.
said book or audio, then I would have gone audio, because just lately
Okay.
I've, as someone that does read, I do read papers, but for whatever reason, and you know this, I can't. For whatever, I don't read books. The only books that I used to read was those little commando books. Remember them?
They got no words in them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were brilliant. Remember I got you some a few years ago?
Yeah. But,
Oh, they were brilliant.
but I've really now got into audiobooks
Yeah,
and
yeah.
podcasts and all that.
But
and that's a great
it's because
thing.
it's easier.
Yeah.
I'm not saying obviously you're not lazy, but it's just easier. You're driving, you're listening.
Yeah,
rather
that's-
than
Yeah, I've got in the
like
trouble a
listening
couple
to a
of
good
times
podcast.
between these.
yeah.
Yeah. Trying to
Yeah. Same as a movie. You're
Yeah.
just there, you're watching.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, you take...
well, reading is great, and I wish I did more.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah, it takes me a while to get into like a good... I have to have like a really good book.
Yeah.
Like a fictional book. I like non-fiction as well, and I've read some good ones. But
It's
like a fictional
hard
book,
to
I've really got
read
get into it.
non-fiction.
Unless it's a topic or something you enjoy
Yeah,
and
yeah.
want to discuss and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Movie.
Okay. Introvert or extrovert?
Oh, right. Yeah.
I'm not even going to answer that. It's obvious, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hey?
Extra. I don't know. I'm a bit of both. I think I'd probably be swinging a bit more to introverted.
I don't think you are.
You don't think I am?
No, I think you downplay. Like you are confident and you can talk to a lot of people. I get what you're saying. You know yourself obviously the best. So how you are, I know what you're saying.
I feel like
Deep down, you probably are an introvert. But I think you're more extroverted than you realise.
You're a slow burner.
Yeah, I take a while. Yeah,
basically.
So I would say that's introvert.
If we were in a room now and we'd come along to meet or whatever, you'd be polite. You say hello and how are you and whatever.
Yeah.
And then by the end of when we're leaving. Come on, Shaun, for Christ's sake, because you would have been in the corner,
but
chatting
you
to
can have a
someone
chat and the
about your
banter as well.
Newcastle and whatever it is, and your pizzas and all that.
If,
but no,
it
would be,
if
you know?
everyone heard us on the Xbox and you said you're an introvert, they would be like, fuck off.
To be fair, I'm not quite.
I've got to say, when the Xboxes first come out and everything else, and we're downstairs, and Mum says, where is he? Oh, he's upstairs. And I said, what's he doing? Oh, he's playing. So all of a sudden, okay, all right. Then all of a sudden, you fucking American shit, man. Oh, you wanker. Oh, we won the war without this. I go out there. Who are you talking to? He said, those American wankers over there.
Yeah.
And I didn't realise that you could talk
around the world.
Around the world and everything. And that was it then for years.
Yeah, but a few episodes, whenever I was on there and Dad would come into the room, even if it wasn't playing against Americans, he'd be like, God save the Queen, Britannia, and stuff like that. I would say I'm more extroverted than introvert.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know where you get that from.
City or countryside?
It's not as easy as you think.
Funny enough, we had this conversation the other day where we were out in the country.
Okay.
With Mum, even took the dog for a walk and stuff and all that. And it's beautiful. Might be different for you at your time of life at the moment.
Yeah.
But for our time of life and our age and whatever, you value bus, you value chemist, you value doctor and stuff.
Yeah.
So I'd say city.
Okay. I think it's hard for me. I love a good, like, a city break, go to different cities across Europe and stuff and all that, and I've really enjoyed those as much as, like, a beach holiday or, like, a kind of like an adventure
Were you
holiday.
talking of holiday then?
No. I'm just in general. I'm just saying, like, that's when I would like a city.
Yeah.
More so than maybe, like, over here. So I think, like, I don't know, I'd say countryside. Like, you know, I was driving down somewhere for work the other day and stuff, and I was driving through. Oh, it's so nice. Like, you know, you're driving through and all that, and it's so much better than driving through like Bristol, or anywhere like that. And I'm just thinking, so I probably would sway on the countryside on that.
Yeah, I would say like if I could choose, it'd be like a really nice house in Chew.
Yeah.
So I would say country.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's very close.
But then you got swings and roundabouts. If you know,
not in the
children, no, not in the country. But you think about it. We've got Emma, and like she's got 3.
Oh yeah.
And she's running around here, there.
Yeah.
There's no buses. There's nowhere for them to go. And
there's
else.
pluses.
So swings and roundabouts, isn't it?
Yeah.
What is your dream vacation destination? Somewhere you haven't been, obviously. I know you've probably been on a lot of good holidays.
That's a good question.
Say dream, or a place where you.
Yeah, somewhere you want to. Yeah,
somewhere you want to go.
Yeah.
I think that I would like to have. We've got a couple on the bucket list. One we've just ticked off from Mum because she wants to go to Egypt.
Yeah.
Nice.
I said Canada, but I think somewhere where I would like to go because we just had some people come back from Australia.
Okay.
And said it's not as cracked up to what everyone
What's meant
thinks.
to be? Yeah. Okay.
They're pretty. Stay in there in that they are very, very woke and everything else.
Who was that?
Steve from the running club.
All right.
He's just come back. He had 3 weeks out there.
Yeah.
And he went to Melbourne, Sydney, and a couple of other places. Then they went to Tasmania.
Okay.
And he said he found the people in Tasmania a lot friendlier than the people on mainland Australia.
Okay.
But getting to your question, I think I'd like a month in New Zealand.
Okay,
2 weeks
yeah.
on South Island, 2 weeks on North Island. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
New
good
Zealand.
shout.
I don't know.
To be fair, I think when my nan and granddad, they did like pretty much went around the world like trip kind of stuff. And I remember granddad always saying that their favourite holiday was they hired out like a jeep kind of thing in New Zealand, and that was always one. They went like they've been Canada, all these places, but they always said that New Zealand was one of their most favourite
Kiwis
places
as well. It's supposed to be real friendly.
So I get that. I think we've kind of answered this a little bit, and I'm kind of in between. You guys have gone somewhere I've always wanted to try and go, which is like the Maldives.
Yeah.
I'd always love to go there.
It really is.
And I think that's up there for me for going.
But it is stupidly expensive now.
Yeah,
imagine
regardless, it is worth it.
Yes. Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah,
It's
so
worth it.
Yeah.
I definitely want to do that, but I think I would probably still sway towards Japan.
I would love to do Japan. To see the culture.
Actually,
to see the culture.
That is a good shout because
Yeah, Japan's up there.
I mean, for us, like I said, like for me, a bit more like obviously the Pokemon, for both of us, the gaming side, electronics and stuff like that.
I'd
but
also love to see the heritage of the samurai
heritage,
side. and
out
stuff.
in the mountains as well. Yeah, it's great.
Mount Fuji,
It looks
The whole culture and
beautiful.
the
everything.
samurais and all that, all the temples and everything. And your
Love the
granddad
food as well.
was out
Oh,
there,
the food, yeah.
and he had 3-4 weeks stationed there on the
right.
ship. And I can remember him doing photos of Mount Fuji and samurais and stuff and all that. And he absolutely loved it. That is really a good show.
That's what we said on that. Yeah.
2 episodes ago or so, whenever it was. But yeah,
So when's your 40th?
5 years.
Well,
Go for it.
do it.
Yeah.
Do it while you can.
Yeah.
Do it while
Oh
you
yeah,
can.
100%.
Yeah.
I probably have to say Athens.
Okay, yeah. Okay, Greece.
For the history.
Yeah. And there's a lot.
Have you done Athens?
No, we haven't.
You've
We've done
Greece.
Greek islands.
Yeah, but
we've done Crete and a few other islands, and we've been to where the Olympics have started and stuff and everything else.
Yeah, but Athens with the Acropolis.
Yeah,
and
the
all
Acropolis.
Like I said, when I went to Rome,
Yeah.
just to see the history of that,
yeah.
was great.
yeah.
And Athens again would be somewhere I'd want to go.
It's
as well,
like,
but-
Rome would be above Athens, but I love the Greek history just a little bit.
Yeah.
That's
No,
what's
fine.
why.
Yeah, that's cool.
But Rome as well is up there.
I mean, you look at it. I mean, we have it over here because we've got on our doorstep. We've got Bath and we've got Siren Sister with the Romans.
Yeah.
But you actually go to that Colosseum and you stand by it and you're going like this.
Yeah, it's
You know?
ridiculous. And now
then you
they
walk
built
in
it.
there,
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
it's good. Bit of an interesting one. What's your favourite smell?
Sorry, was that me there?
Yeah.
My own.
yeah.
Oh, my favourite smell. I got to be honest with you. I'm going to go for an old-fashioned smell because it reminds me of my mum,
Okay.
who sadly passed away at the age of 32. But whenever I smell it, I nearly said hear it, but smell it,
Yeah.
and everything else is lavender.
Okay.
Yeah,
Lavender is nice.
Yeah,
I do like lavender as well.
Yeah,
Nice.
she loved lavender because again, back then, sort of, what was that? She died in 69, so sort of like 66, 67 to 9. Lavender was like the spray thing that you could have and stuff and all that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it would be
Lavender.
lavender. Yeah.
I think mine's probably actually freshly ground coffee.
Yeah.
I
no,
really like
yeah.
the smell. Like when
Yeah.
it proper down, you smell those. I don't know. It's just something for me. Like I know some people don't, but freshly
No,
ground
that's-
coffee, I love
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Well, they tell you, don't
yeah.
you, when you're selling your house, get a percolator, get
And
the
do that,
coffee
yeah.
going and
Yeah.
stuff and everything else. So,
Yeah.
any tips out there you want for selling your house?
Yeah.
Get a coffee.
Coffee.
Right there.
There you go.
If anyone wants a sponsor, Sean's looking.
Yeah, definitely. Anyone. I need that bean to cut
I
machine.
would say cinnamon. Cinnamon's up there.
That's another
Love
good
cinnamon
one.
Yeah.
and like a vanilla candle, but it cannot beat the smell of a lush roast or
Okay.
a Christmas dinner.
Yeah.
Like going through the house
Yeah.
when you're doing
Yeah.
everything,
Yeah.
and you get that roast smell. Oh,
Well, you just imagine
Right.
you could have all of that, couldn't you? You
Yeah.
could sort of come out, you've had your lavender bath, you
Yeah.
walk down, you've got the
Yeah.
smell of the coffee,
Yeah.
you take your coffee out, and then you go
doing
down
a
the
roast,
tables.
yeah,
there.
all
That-
in one
that would-
day.
yeah, all
yeah.
in one day. That
Yeah.
would be really,
the
really good.
trifecta.
Yeah.
be good,
About
wouldn't
what?
The trifecta.
I'm glad he said that.
What's your favourite way to unwind?
Oh, not watch Man United.
No. Just lately, I because of my knee and one thing or another, what I do like doing is going out and either run, walk, or listening to audio to chill. To be honest with you, my knee at the moment is. I've just had a knee replacement 16 weeks ago, and yesterday I'd done the Hanham Horror, which was 5.5 miles.
You're saying,
really good.
Your mum out today. We've done 5k, so I do like doing that, and just sort of because when I am running, I just don't think about anything.
Yeah, you're like just in the zone, like
just chill.
Yeah,
either that or audio book and everything.
Yeah.
Okay, I think obviously I had just had my wedding anniversary on Saturday and went to a spa hotel.
Nice.
And I feel like if I did that more, I think I would say spa, because if I could do that weekly, I think, or like daily, like going to spa, sauna, steam, and just completely unwind, you're out of there.
Yeah.
But I think obviously I don't do it enough to say that would be my favourite way to unwind. So for me, it's probably gaming, to be fair. Like actually, it's similar to what you said, you go into the zone. Like I go into my gaming, I block any negative thoughts or anything I've had going on during the day. Maybe work or
you unwind though?
I think I do. I generally do. I feel more because all you're concentrating on is your voice, unfortunately, for me.
Sorry.
And putting up with the performance of the other players we play with and how frustrated we are with them.
Yeah.
Do you understand McGee?
No, not at all.
Yeah, easy now.
But no, I generally feel like that's my Zen mode. I actually shut off and everything, and I nothing else. I don't think about anything else, like which I might be worried about for the day. So that's probably my favourite way to unwind.
Yeah, gaming's up there. If like when mine would be is when we still had the hot tub. You get after a day, get in the hot tub with a nice drink, and you know, hot tub's just us. You just sat there. We got the lights on in the garden. Sun's setting, it gets dark, and you just look up at the stars. It's just. Oh, so relaxing.
Yeah, you're going to have to get in
so I'm going to. Sorry, Liz. It's going to be this year.
What's your favourite type of cuisine?
Well, we touched on that a bit yesterday, wasn't it? There is liver and onions.
Yeah.
We talked about that. I am a
could fall into
a
British.
traditional, traditional like steak and kidney pie, liver and onions, fish and chips. It'd be any of those, to be honest. A traditional
cuisine.
Yeah.
I feel like Italian food, like pizzas and stuff, like is I feel like I get a little bit limited. I don't eat enough of it. I do like we said, I do like my Chinese and my Indian food, but I don't have it enough. Because I'm the only one in my household who likes it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Chinese?
Yeah, or Indian. Just me. Yeah. So yeah, I'd have to say Italian.
Yeah, I think Italian's the most versatile with the pastas, pizzas, and all that.
Very nice.
Love Spanish, Mexican, love sushi, but Italian just
Portuguese,
yeah, it's very similar to Spanish. It's up there, but I think Italian's just so much lush stuff.
Yeah.
Lasagna, bolognese, pizza, like pesto pasta. Oh.
Yeah, very nice.
What's a word you overuse?
A word I overuse. I'm not really sure, but I do know a word that I really hate when you listen to someone on the radio and everything else. There was a professor on the other day talking about something on the radio about Trump or whatever it was, and he was having to explain. And he would start off and go, yeah, well, what it is, and can you tell me, and every time he paused, it was, so what came out of the conversation was, you know?
Yeah.
So, I really don't know, Sean. That's a really, really good question.
I mean...
Chunky, I think, is what I use a lot for the dog.
Yeah, there you go. It might be that, yeah.
So chunky, yeah.
It could even be a word, it maybe not one you always say every time, maybe it might be one you're writing at. So I think, like, for me, I think when we chat, it's always like bro or dog.
Yeah.
I feel like you use that more than any other words and stuff, and that is probably more talking
you've
stuff.
You've said that for so many years.
I know, that's what I mean, yeah.
Brought up with it, yeah.
I would probably say, what was the question? It was like, what
a word you overuse.
Yeah, that I would probably say is be careful to the kids.
Yeah.
I'd probably say I just can't help it. Like, obviously, like Roman is a beast.
Yeah.
Never known a kid like it who just gets it, bangs it, and just carries on.
Yeah.
And Bella's really tough too. But the amount of time that we do something about, be careful.
Yeah.
Be careful.
Yeah.
Just can't help myself.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, but that's the instincts.
Of course, it's the instinct.
And everything else.
And I'm trying to turn it down a bit to be like, oh, and if they get a bump and stuff, like, let them do it. But I just can't help it. Be careful doing this.
Yeah.
Be careful doing that. Be careful doing that. It's probably that.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good one. Other than this podcast, okay, and this is for all the listeners and viewers as well, because this is clearly
The only one you want to
podcast.
listen to.
Yeah.
What is your other potential second place favourite podcast after this one?
Reacher.
Oh yeah, well, your audiobooks.
My audiobooks.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do listen to history ones.
Yeah.
Yes.
A bit like you. I like my history, the Romans, the Greeks.
Yeah.
But also sort of like Napoleonic Wars, and also one that I just listened to a little while back was about the Civil War in America.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I do like history.
History sort of
history
stuff.
and geography was something that I thoroughly
Yeah.
enjoyed
Yeah.
as a kid, because where I lived and my state of life then, to be told things about geography, you know, these Cook Islands or this or whatever it was, you could just sort of float away and be there. Or history, where they would tell you about the Vikings, and they tell you about the Romans and sort of the Second World War, the Egyptians or whatever, Cleopatra. I used to love all that. So anything like that is what I tend to
quite like history as well. And there was one I used to listen to was called The Rest is History. It was a podcast. It's a good one. But I think the two I listen to most outside of re-listening to our own podcast, because this is the best podcast, is the Pete Crouch podcast. I really like that one because that delved a lot into the side of football you don't maybe hear about a lot of times. What happens in the change rooms and you know, when in the tunnel and all these other bits. And there's really good stories and his insights in it. But the one which is quite popular at the moment, The Rest is Football. So Lineker, Shearer, and Micah Richards. They obviously recap about the sports, what happened weekly. Results and stuff and all that. I quite like listening to that, and obviously if we can ever do a collaboration with them, that would be amazing as well.
Yeah, I would definitely be going out Shearer. Respectful.
That was fine. Yeah.
Well, for years, mine obviously the Joe Rogan podcast, the number one podcast, but his topics, guests, and stuff was just no wonder he's the most popular one in the world. 'Cause it's just so entertaining. He would have MMA fighters on his episodes, interviews, but he would have everyone. Like he's had Donald Trump on there. He's had like loads of British, people you can't even think of.
Right.
People who survived bear attacks, who tell their stories. Yeah. It's just so versatile. Back in the day, it was brilliant.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say that. Yeah.
Joe Rogan. Okay.
Yeah. Shout us out.
A historical figure you would admire. We obviously had a chat last week with the draft UFC with kind of warriors and stuff like that. But
so say the question again, please.
A historical figure you admire. Someone in history you thought they were really good.
I sort of brought it up yesterday that if I could have a drink, it would be Churchill.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Churchill. I think because he lived on 4 hours sleep. And he had to beg, steal, and borrow. It'd be interesting to see, you know, have a chat with him about things. Churchill. I think.
Yeah.
I think mine would be probably older. It's probably changed over the years. I feel like, who would I go for?
Genghis Khan.
It's not a bad shot.
Someone, I think, like you've mentioned it, you're going to go on holiday to Egypt. Something in Egypt, I think. So, like Alexander the Great or Cleopatra.
I'd like to see how they built
or something like that. Yeah, like Ramesses or something like that. Yeah. Something like that.
And did they build those pyramids?
How they did it and how they ran, and what they ran in the scenario they're in as well, where they are, in the desert and stuff like that, So something like that. One of those ran there or something, because they built some amazing structures there. Obviously.
And what's that temple built into the stone in Jordan?
Oh, I know what you're on about. Yeah,
it's in a lot of the films, Agatha Christie, the Bond films.
It was in Indiana Jones.
Jones and all that. I mean, that is just unbelievable what they've done. That's a good show.
I'm gonna have to get the name out because that is going to annoy me.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, when you see the pyramids or
Petra,
that's
Petra,
it.
yeah.
Petra.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's any of that. The
Something like that,
Romans,
yeah.
the Greeks,
Any of them.
the Egyptians,
Yeah.
how they done all that. And Genghis Khan, how he managed, when you
100%.
see
Yeah.
Yeah.
how much he overtook,
From
how did he
Mongolia,
manage
yeah.
to control it?
Yeah, I know.
know?
I know. I would probably go for Julius Caesar.
Okay. Yeah, good shout.
I think I would. Like what he conquered as well.
Yeah.
What he did. It was him who got over to Britain and stuff like that. And he fought against
The gold.
the Gauls, yeah, and everyone. And then he fought against Rome itself. Oh, what was the guy he fought against? Was it Plato? Can't remember. Yeah, Caesar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good shout.
Good
Yeah, I
shout,
like
yeah.
that. All that.
Yeah.
All that. Favorite type of music to listen to?
Well, believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, I was a DJ back in the 1970s and the 80s. So it would be the 70s or 80s. Obviously,
Yes.
you've been brought up on music. We got surrounded by it with Bob Marley and stuff.
The
all
late
that.
70s,
Yeah.
80s
But
is
I
the
love all
best.
music.
It's
I really,
the
really
best
love music.
genre of music.
We've had Mother's Day where we were singing
Yeah,
Adele
Adele,
and stuff and all that. So I love music.
Yeah.
Me and Mum loves music.
Yeah.
And we brought you up on music.
Yeah.
So I like any bit, over the years I've started to listen to opera, believe it or not.
Okay.
Yeah, I love,
Country.
love
Yeah, I love country.
Country
Yeah.
is
Country
brilliant.
is things. And again, on the phone you get different artists and all
Yeah.
that. So I wouldn't 80s is what I was brought on, but I do like all kinds of music.
Yeah.
To be honest.
To be fair, my radio station is absolute country at the moment.
Yeah.
I listen to
Country's
a lot.
brilliant.
But for me, it'd have to be just because I've listened to it. Majority of my life is going to be rap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine would be rap or
Hip-hop.
reggae. Rap or reggae.
Well, you were brought up on Eminem, weren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You introduced me to Eminem.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very close to like reggae as well, is right there.
So the last one I've got on here is just one thing you're grateful for today.
His mum, Jane, my wife,
Yeah.
my soulmate, my friend. Yeah, no, without Jane, because we sort of touched a bit yesterday, didn't we? That I was come to a crossroads. You could go left or you could go right. I joined the army. When I was in the army, I met your mum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then from there, she's been by my side all the way through.
Yeah.
And I've basically not known anyone as long as I know your mum.
Yeah.
Because, as I said, your nan died at an early age.
Yeah.
Your dad, your granddad, sorry, at a later age. So yeah, no, it would be Jane.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, mine is just going to be my family.
yeah.
Like my close immediate family, and obviously like
Same.
dad, like
Same.
kids, Claire.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that in
Yeah.
you as well.
And that
you
they're
know.
healthy and
Yeah.
they're well and
Yeah.
they're
That's all you can ask for. It's
Yeah.
always grateful for. Grateful for
Yeah.
what they do for us all, for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
I'm like just so grateful for that.
I think we talked about it last night that no matter what the guys say and blah blah blah, we all know at the end of the day, you do need a good woman behind you to be
100%.
to
Woman or
talk
partner, but
partner,
for us,
whatever,
for
yeah.
us women,
but to talk to,
Yeah.
for them to understand, etc., and everything else.
definitely
And I say
Yeah.
around this table, we're very lucky that we've
Yeah.
got that.
unbelievably lucky.
Definitely.
I know I am. Yeah.
So, well, that was it. That was the end of the quickfire Q&A because it's very
It
quickfire.
was very good.
Which brings us to the end of this
Done
kind
over
of
an hour already, man.
Yeah.
which brings me to the end of this first part.
Yeah.
So we're going to just finish on reviewing the second beer.
Yeah.
Because we reviewed the Berliner Kindle last night.
Yeah.
So just to remind everyone, well, not remind everyone because you don't know about it, but what we voted last night, I voted it an 8.
Yeah.
Clarke was 7.6 and Terry was a 7.5. It felt as the beer was, it got better as it went on. You
No,
felt
it got worse.
worse as it got on.
it-
Better when it was to start with.
When
yeah.
we opened it, it was crisp.
Yeah.
It was really fresh and
Eggs,
hoppy.
hop,
It was
yeast,
lovely. But because we were
Warburtons.
doing the podcast and talking, it
set,
then just got warm and it wasn't nice.
Yeah,
and
it got a
else.
bit flat.
Yeah, it did. That's the word.
This is better, in
Yes.
my opinion.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
No, I
Okay.
agree with you.
Yeah,
I do agree.
I
with
did
you.
like that. It's
Yeah.
been
It's
it's
very,
been the
very
hoppy.
nice.
So
Where do you get it from?
Funny enough, we get it from Beers of Europe.
I've not heard of it before.
Okay.
Is there a link anyone could follow?
There is a code, there's a link, and we'll put it in all our socials. Make sure you use it.
I said lovely then, didn't I?
Yeah, well done. Well done.
Well, guess first. Our first guess. So I
All
will
right,
let
then.
you
So
do the
I'll
very
think
first.
it'll be...
I'm actually going to give that a 8.5.
Yeah, it's
8.5?
good.
8.5.
It is
That was
better.
really, really nice.
8.5.
And even though
Sorry?
we've been chatting for an hour, and I've got the last little bit left, that is still crisp.
Yeah, it is,
still
yeah.
fresh, still nice.
8.37 for me.
Oh, he's come back to the double digits.
It's one of the best we've had.
Yeah, I gave the Berliner a nice one, but I do think it's better. I think
It
that's
is, yeah.
better than the Tusker for me. So I'm going to give that, same as Ianger, I'm going to give that an 8.5 as well.
Oh, there you are.
So I agree.
So we
He's
better
Sion.
send them this podcast and let them know that we voted them 8.5 and see if they want to send us any more beers.
Yeah, send as many as you want. We'll happily drink them.
Yeah.
So, just a few facts then. I've just got about it.
Well
It's a classic German Kolsch beer, originating from Cologne.
Oh,
Okay. It's a fermented beer that is cold conditioned like a lager. This results in a beer that is the smoothest of an ale, but with a crisp, refreshing character, similar to a lager or pilsner.
definitely.
Yeah, I agree. You
Yeah,
can taste that.
it's
It's
very
a bright
smooth.
and clear beer, which we said is pale golden colour, which it was. It often has a light aroma of subtle herbal hop notes and a hint of pale malt. A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, 4.8%, as we said. They normally, so traditionally a Kolsch, which is just something I didn't know, is served in a tall, narrow, cylindrical glass called a stange, which holds 0.2 litres.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's like the little small ones
Yeah,
then, isn't it?
like that.
When you go to Spain,
Yeah.
those little ones.
Yeah, they're lovely.
They're lovely.
I love drinking
And,
them.
nice.
Yeah.
So, I mentioned about the packaging earlier. I said maybe Cathedral. The brewery site where Sion Kolsch is produced has a long history dating back to 1318, as indicated by the image of the Cologne Cathedral on its packaging. So I did say that looked like a
Yeah, you did.
cathedral again, but yeah,
Did,
No.
but,
So 13, what was it?
1318.
Wow.
do you know what it actually
That is
reminds me
nice.
of is the two towers in, is it Kuala Lumpur?
Yeah.
I'm going to take a photo of that and get that. I'm going to get straight on Beers of Europe. That was really, really
Make
nice.
sure you use the link.
I will use the link.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's the beer review. That is the end of our part one.
Hope you hear us
second
this
part
time.
Hear
Because
us
if
this
you
time.
haven't, we're fucked.
We're not doing it again. I appreciate you coming back again, Terry, obviously,
Yeah.
Oh,
to
I
redo
cheers,
this.
Dad.
Viewers, you won't, and listeners, you wouldn't have heard this when we finished the show yesterday.
Oh, they will.
Oh, were they?
Yeah, we got that last
Okay,
bit.
well, I won't say it then, but
Well, you can say whatever you want.
But basically, it was like being out with my two best mates, having a lovely conversation, talking about random stuff that just veered off here and there. And that's what I think is nice about podcasts and the trouble that you go to, Sean, with the questions, because they're thought-provoking, but they do then send you down another rabbit hole, down this, and it's brilliant.
Yeah, I really love
Absolutely.
that.
And as I said earlier, I think that this should be done more and more with this podcast, with people, set it up all over the country. Go once a week, chat with your mates over a beer.
Definitely.
Very good for your mental health.
It really is. And the way it has been now and yesterday as well, it's very organic. The way it flowed, it was just really natural, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
really good. It's been the same again today.
Well, I can't believe that's an hour and 7 minutes.
Again,
Well,
That's just gone like that, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you both. I
Yeah.
thoroughly
No, thank you
enjoyed
for
it.
coming on as
Second
well,
time
Dad.
round.
Yeah, no, appreciate it.
Yeah,
Like
no.
I
Love
said,
you both.
this should,
Yeah,
and yourself, definitely. This should lead on to the second part of the episode.
Which it will.
It
Should we
will.
get sorted out?
See you on the other side.
But we'll say bye.
We'll say bye now,
Bye.
and you will say bye again. But yeah,
Yeah.
we'll see everyone later.
Cheerio.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Yeah. Same.
Okay. That was good. I really enjoyed that. What's the weirdest thing in your fridge right now?
I haven't got anything weird in the fridge.
Do you not?
No.
Okay. I don't think mine's weird, but I've got like a small little jar I bought from, like, when you go like the farmers kind of like market, like good like farms and have the dates
Oh,
and
in that
stuff like
case,
that.
well, in that case, then it's Archer's toothpaste.
Okay, there you go. That's weird. That is weird. Dog toothpaste, yeah.
He's got to keep it in the fridge.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Mine's probably, I got like a pineapple chili jam.
Oh, that's nice.
It's nice, yeah, but it's like I've got normal stuff, cheese and bread, but like and ham and stuff like that, and butter. But that's probably the weirdest thing I've got in there. Yeah.
Probably a human heart.
I wish I was that quick. I got it in my freezer.
Yeah.
That's very good.
The weirdest is it's not even that weird, but is lids made what was it? It was like a sort of soap, I think, that's good for infants out of a breast milk.
Right, okay, yeah.
Right.
Keep it in a container, and it's got kept in the fridge. But for a baby, it can be really good for their skin.
It's still pretty weird though. Yeah. Not most people would have that in their fridge. So
after the heart.
Do you sing in the shower? Yes or no?
100%. Oh,
that's fine. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
No, I don't. Not really.
I don't know.
I don't stay in as long as he do.
No, he has long showers.
I think of the water and the coughs and stuff.
I don't sing. I get it done.
In a fucking shower. But yeah, no, I do. Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Favorite sauce or condiment?
There could be 2 or 3, really, isn't there?
There could be quite a few.
Yeah. Peppercorn sauce.
That's what I was going to say.
Peppercorn sauce.
That's what I was going to say.
Something.
Go with
mine's a bit different. I love the ketchup and brown sauce, but something which I've really come recently because I eat a lot more beef now is horseradish.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
I really got a craving. Like beef and horseradish sandwich now is
good shout.
amazing.
But you get different types of horseradish.
Yeah.
You get it. You put it on. And you don't even know you've had it, and then so you think the next time you go somewhere, I'll put a dollar.
That's just seems like mustard as well, isn't it? You get
I'm not a mustard lover.
No, you get a proper deep horseradish. I would get peppercorn sauce as well.
Okay.
Close second would be like I do like a red pepper hummus. I love brown sauce.
Yeah, good.
Brown sauce.
We've got 2 more now on this quickfire Q&A, and then we've got to get into the other ones. But anyway, one thing people always get wrong about you.
We haven't got long enough. Basically, is what you see is what you get, and I am not shy in coming forward, so I'm probably border arrogant. Not that I am.
No, I know what you mean. Yeah, that's what people get wrong about you. Yeah,
if you're in my face, I'll be in your face. But there are people. And I've worked with some. If I think about Lindsay, and he'll say to me, or he'll say to other people, say, "Do you know that Terry?
Yeah.
Oh, he's fucking Marmite." Yeah. And I am. I honestly believe that I am Marmite.
I believe it.
Yeah. We concur.
But I am.
Okay, that's fine.
But I'm not arrogant. But I do border.
That's what
I don't suffer fools gladly.
Yeah.
No.
You know?
And it's a hard question because like people meet you for the first time, we're always kind of have a perception of when you meet someone for the first time, and you do get people wrong.
Yeah,
you do judge a book by its cover sometimes and things like that. And I think for me, it's probably I was going to talk about something else, but I always try and I'm always trying to be a people pleaser. I'm always like, no matter who you are, I'll always be nice to you. I always try and be people pleasing and stuff. And it can be the same for most people. But I think people think I'm too nice or a pushover sometimes, and I feel like if you push me too much, there's a point I will react, and it's like I can only go so far. But there's a point where it's like some people might be, well, you've said something wrong, they're quickly to short fuse. I'm always like, look, see if we can talk about it, work it out. I'll be nice, But there's a point, and I think people might look at me sometimes, and they might feel like, oh, he's easy to walk over or push over, but there's a point I will snap back.
No, I don't. I would say that's a good quality because this is something that I've said to Clarke. Time and time again, because the way that I was brought up was to punch you first, then talk to you and ask questions after. Because from the age of 13, I was on my own, and I went into a Royal Naval training school, and you know this story. So I'm digressing. I'll make it quick. But I got there on a Sunday, then on the Monday, I'm on this Royal Naval training ship in Chatham in Kent, and you get there, and it's the sports day kind of thing.
Yep.
So I'm sort of snivelling because I've been on this train. I've left my nan and everything else. So it's boxing. So all right, okay, boxing and everything else. And I didn't know much about boxing. And I beat this guy. I wouldn't say that I was brilliant, but I beat him. The guy put my hand up and that. So I walked back over and everything else. And then he comes over and said, oh, I'm really sorry. You're in the wrong age group. So then the next thing is, he says, you've got to fight him. So I was like this high, he was like this high, ginger-head as well, right? Massive, and he knocked 7 bells of shit out of me, right? I cried and stuff and everything else, and it was from that day forward that my defence, unfortunately, which is not right, but it was for me at that time.
No, okay.
My defence was, I'll hit you first and then ask the question. Because in those day and age, you could just look at who you looking at, and then before you know it, there's a fight, the thing, and all that. So the easiest thing to do was just hit someone.
Yeah, okay.
Right? And then stop it, you know? So, not that I'm condoning that or anything.
No, I know what you mean. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah,
So
that's fine. We're different people, aren't we?
Yeah.
What I was getting to say, sorry,
Which is why it's a good quality.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about you as well.
Yeah.
You because people would probably look at you thinking, oh, he's Terry's son. You're going to be exactly like him, all mouth from one thing another. But you, and I've seen it with you as well, you two are very, very good in giving benefit of the doubt to someone. Yeah. And like you just said, Shaun, is there's that line and they push you to it.
Yeah.
And you're still happy. But they push you over it, then that is it.
That's it,
Yeah. I don't know. I would say mine is probably more leaning towards how you are, where some people could think I'm too harsh, honest, or upfront.
Yeah.
In terms of, like yourself, I'll say exactly what I think.
Yeah.
And sometimes that can come across as, oh, look, you said da-da-da. And they might not think I'm caring or kind or stuff as well, because if I see something wrong or anything, or someone's being a certain way, I will call them out on it.
Yeah, but that's what you've been brought up to and stuff. Exactly. Else is, but
people might think that I may not listen. You know what I mean? The opposite of that.
Yeah.
The opposite of that. I might not listen. I might not be as understanding, or I might not listen to someone's point of view.
Yeah.
Because I'm like that.
Yeah.
I think.
No.
Sometimes.
Yeah. Well, I caught a bit where you two were talking about bullies and things and stuff and everything else, and you know that's a thing close to my heart and everything else.
Yeah.
And you're right in what you say is people look at you. You can be intimidating and everything else.
Yeah.
But one thing that you are good at, and I have said that and everything else, is you do listen, and you will observe the other person's opinion.
Yeah.
If you're still not saying that it's right, but at least you acknowledge it by saying, "Well, I agree what you're saying, but that's blah blah blah."
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, both of you, like I respect both of you, and I think like you wear your heart on your sleeve. And like you said, you're not afraid to stand up for other people. Yeah. If you see someone like, I don't know, getting attacked or someone saying a bad word. And we spoke about it the other week, and it's like, it's not beating around the bush. It's like, if you see something wrong, let's get to the point. Your view is like, we can solve it quicker.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and like, so it's just it's good. It's how we do it. So the last one for this quickfire Q&A was, what job would you be terrible at?
Singing.
Okay. Mine was gonna be artistic. So something like playing an instrument or doing arts or something like that. Like I think I'd be horrendous at.
That'd be horrendous as well.
Yeah.
So. Basketball player.
So it leads me on to a couple more questions, and we'll go into reviewing the beer, and then we'll get into the kind of wisdom bit. So these can kind of be quick fire ones. They were meant to be a bit longer, but obviously the Q&A a bit longer is fine. Completely fine. So which of us would we got to debate this? Which of us would spend all their money on something stupid?
Oh, that's tough.
I mean, we've all spent money on things.
I think we all would.
Yeah, I think it'd be more me or Dad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Might be a bit safer with your coffers. I think me or Dad.
Yeah.
Probably just Dad.
Yeah, I bought some stupid things in it.
Yeah. Okay. That's fine.
Not saying I wouldn't. I'd just say Dad. I'd probably just edge it.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Which of us would get caught cheating at a pub quiz?
Dad.
Yes, I was going to say Terry.
Yeah. I remember, right, me and Dad were playing chess once, and I was still living at home, but I was living with Lids. And I was like, oh, let's play chess, and whenever I come back, we'd do a move. Yeah. So I'd do a move, and then Dad, could be next day, he'd do a move. And then I'd do a move, because he played chess a lot. And then I went there one day, I was like, fucking sure that piece was there, right? I was like, oh yeah, I was so sure it wasn't. So what Dad didn't know, after I took a photo of every board every time then. So if I saw you moved it, I'd move it back and I'd be like,
bloody phones.
Yeah, we just said about them. Yeah.
I was like, look.
Yeah, I would probably have to say, yeah, you Terry on that one.
Yeah.
Next one, I've only got one answer to this. Which of us would lose our passport on day one of a trip? That would be Clarke.
And then
On my stag do, yeah.
And then spend the last day
at the embassy.
At the embassy for 12 hours.
That was
shit.
That was.
I didn't lose it. I shouldn't have ran it, but I got pickpocketed.
Yeah, so it was that.
But I did lose it.
Which of us would be the worst person to go on holiday with? Now, this could be an interesting one. I don't know if we can answer that. I don't know. It's hard. Like,
I don't know.
I think we've had lots of good holidays together. Yeah.
Our families and us and stuff.
Yeah, I've not had a bad one.
No, we've not had a bad one.
It's fun.
You.
No.
You could have pulled your wallet out a bit more. You know?
I will now. Maybe all those fights I started and never finished.
Oh, yeah, no.
There you go. Which of us would sleep through an earthquake?
Probably me.
Yeah, you?
Yeah.
Probably
Sleep
me.
through quite, yeah. Fair
He's
enough.
the only one, when we went on holidays to America and one thing or another, he'd be the only one, right? You know, oh, since been, and they'd come along, you all right? And he'd go, he's sitting there, put his seatbelt on, engine is just started.
Fair play.
Wake up.
That's good, yeah.
Wake up
Yeah.
as we're landing.
All right, yeah.
That's brilliant.
Yeah,
Yeah, fair play.
It was good. It was good.
Yeah.
Good.
I've only got an answer for both of these, I think, already. Which of us would try to talk their way out of a speeding ticket and make it worse? Terry!
Definitely.
Yeah, probably me. Although,
Not saying you couldn't do it.
no. But
Yeah.
I've always, one thing that, if it's sort of to do with the police stuff like that, I'm always wanting, yes, sir.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
sir.
Yeah.
Don't be disrespectful off the bat. Yeah.
No, I get that.
Yeah.
And then I think this is... Which of us would accidentally start a bar fight, then walk away like nothing happened? Terry!
There's a theme here. Yeah.
I'm not trying to catch you out, I just
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you've done that with your mum and dad.
Yeah. A lot of times.
You have done that a lot of times.
Yeah.
That was it. That was the end of the Quickfire Q&A.
So quick fire.
I know, yeah. Thank you for staying with us on that one. So it's time to review the beer. So while you...
Thank you, Beers of Europe. It's a really nice beer.
Yeah, delicious.
Yeah.
Well, I finished it very quickly. So I obviously liked it the most.
Yeah, I'm just getting some quick
hot,
facts for you.
barley, wheat.
You say that every
butter.
week.
Yeah,
So...
yeah.
There's not much you can say. It's started off nice.
Yeah.
And it's still nice, sort of halfway through and everything.
Not one for you?
It's nice. It's,
Yeah.
now that it's settled,
Yeah.
it's the same as any other lager.
Okay.
And you know I drink a lot of
Yeah,
lager,
yeah.
so, you know. But in the beginning, and I think that if you were on a night out in
You would obviously
Germany
drink
and
it
stuff, you would
different.
drink it
Yeah,
differently. But now where there's, as you can see, there's only half there and everything else. It's just another
Nice
lager.
Okay.
Okay.
So, a few quick facts. It's brewed in Berlin, German. Well, it gives away the name.
Yeah.
The brewer's history, you called out earlier, Terry, 1872 is when it kind of started. The origin, the name of Berliner Kindle references to Kindle, which is Bavarian dialect for child, which is what you said, the child and the thing, okay?
Yeah, that's what the child
which is on Munich's coat of arms. It's a beer brewed after Munich recipe, became very popular in Berlin, starting in 1890, and was subsequently named Berliner Kindle, as we said.
Very nice.
It's just like a normal Pilsner beer. It's 5.1%, like we said. The flavour profile, so see if you kind of get this. It differs across the range, but the Pilsners typically offer a balance of malt and hop bitterness. Kind of got the bitterness, I think. A bit.
It was a beer.
With refreshing qualities.
Yeah, it was
it's because it's like a Weiss beer. That's what it says. So Berliner Weiss is distinctly sour, can have a fruity, yeasty note. So I think there's a little bit in between the both on that. So historical significance, Berliner Kindle has been a significant part of Berlin's beer culture. The brewery merged with Berliner Schultheiss in 2006 to form the Berliner.
It's getting better every week.
Berliner Kindle Schultheiss Brewery, one of the largest in the Berlin area.
Okay, nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
ratings on the doors. What are we going with?
I'll let Dad go first.
Guess first. So I need to write it down first. So what do you think about it? I'll write the name.
Well, what I would say about it while you're doing that, Sean, is that if we were having a drink and we'd opened it as we did and we were drinking it,
Yep.
I would probably say at the time then I would give that 8.5.
Okay.
Right?
Good one.
But yes, we've been chatting and it's been over an hour and one thing another.
Yeah.
To me, it's just a normal lager now.
Okay.
So I'm going to give it a 7.5.
Okay.
7.5 for
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What about you, bro?
I think it is not anywhere near one of the best.
No.
I'd probably give it a 7.6.
7.6.
Can't put it above many of them, to be
Okay.
honest.
Yeah, so it's like, I would probably just put it above the Moosehead for me. I quite like the taste of that myself, so I'm just going to give it an 8
Yeah. Nice.
for me.
Yeah, I get that because, like I said, if we
Yeah.
were at a bar
Yeah.
and we just walked in,
Yeah.
we wouldn't have talked as long as we were at, and that would have tasted really nice.
Yeah.
It would have.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
If we were having a meal though, and we were chatting, and then it's lost some of its flavour, but just lost.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
I agree.
That's fine. Like you said, obviously the episode's gone on longer than our normal ones, but that's completely fine. You said it's our first time with a guest, and
we respect
Don't blame me. You wait and see.
No,
And they'll go, yeah, you chatted too much.
it's been really interesting. So I did up the next segment. I kind of wanted to, before we talk kind of about the beer, why the beers are there, and kind of obviously when we close the episode, is you've obviously lived a good and full life, Terry. I've known you for a very long time. Obviously, Clarke's obviously known you, being your son. I've got a few kind of like deeper wisdom questions, which I want to ask, and you can kind of answer these as open as you want, or not at all, and you can kind of recall on things that have happened in your life, or moments and stuff like that to kind of help answer these questions if you want to.
You
Okay.
better order some breakfast then.
Yeah, definitely.
It's nothing to catch your eye. I had a lot of questions, and I might not ask all of them, just because of the time things
Just
we've got.
feel free. Yeah.
But so I suppose the first question then is, what's one thing you regret not doing? Obviously, we can answer these questions if we want to delve in as well at any point.
One thing.
It's quite hard. I know it's quite an open question, but
and there's one or two answers I could give. Some of it is private, so I won't. But I probably regret not educating myself
okay.
as good as I could have done. I did. I had the chance.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, I had the old 11 plus. I was brought up in Newfoundland Road Junior School.
Yep.
And it was back in the days of the 11 plus, and got a place in Bristol Grammar, being paid for and everything else by the bursars that you used to get.
Yeah.
But my mum at the time, I had 3 children, working, and I had to walk to school and all that. So she went and got me some hockey shoes for rugby boots. And we turned up and put them on and all that. And sort of this guy or this young lad took the piss out of it, and one thing and another. I ended up having a fight with him and stuff and everything else. Sent to the housemaster, and basically back then it was 1 strike and you were out.
Yeah.
So I got kicked out. I did end up going to another grammar school, which was Cotton Grammar. But when I went there, that would have been, I don't know, I was 12 then, so that's year, 8 now, is it? Or I get lost.
Yeah, it's probably like that, yeah.
So I went there when I was 12 anyway. My mum died when I was 12. So we then had to go and live with our gran down in Cornwall, Padstow.
Yeah.
And again, because of the qualification, they sent me to Bodmin Grammar.
Oh, okay.
Right, so in Padstow, there's only 2 schools, Bodmin Grammar and Weybridge.
Yeah.
And so for about 4 or 5 weeks, I was catching the Bodmin. So you got all the Weybridge going, Then I had to do an exam and whatever, and they came back to me and said, I'm really sorry, you're not quite. So I had to go to Weybridge. So I finished Bodmin Grammar on the Friday. Then on the Monday, the likes of Fino and Chris Swaby and all them, I was getting the piss taken right out of me because I was now a secondary boy, you know? So, so education.
Okay. I mean, I want to chip on this. You've mentioned it before, bro, in terms of money savviness. So I think, like, being like mid-30s now, I think not investing or putting money away earlier in my 20s to now to creating. So I'm doing it now. Obviously, pensions is always kind of gone on, but putting away that money and investing it earlier to kind of build up, some sort of wealth or funds for the future early enough is probably one thing I'd probably regret not doing.
Yeah, I would say.
I would say for the two of you, given where, because again I listened to that and you said about it, and everything else with the business and all that. I do think that these issues have been around for certainly the last 25 years. So why isn't there in the curriculum for when they're in their sixth form and stuff and everything?
Exactly what we said.
Just to and you did. I'm just basically what a current account means and what this means and what that and that and stuff and everything else. Because again, I can see it happening. We all got our phones. We all go out, and the guy says to you, "How much is it?" And you go, "Bang, bang, bang." How many people realise what it's going?
No, it's true.
I would say what you said as well. Knowledge and money, knowledge of money, general knowledge. Wish I had. I've had a load of books and courses and stuff every year. I wish I had learned it earlier and stuff. Really,
Okay. So next question was, what's the best decision you've ever made?
Me and his mother.
I've
always said that because, again, when my mum died, my mum died, and I then went into this training school, and I told you about I would hit first, ask after, and that carried right on until 16, 17. I was a DJ in Bristol and stuff and everything else. And then I met Jane, which is Clarke's mum.
Yeah.
And I was in the army at the time. And so the best thing ever was meeting Jane's mum.
Okay.
Without that.
Yeah.
Without that. Do you want to add on that or not? I'm fine. These are questions for like.
It would be the same.
Yeah.
Meeting lids.
Yeah. I think it's got to be.
I think all of us around this table agree we've all got our soulmates and partners, and
without doubt,
we all joke, we're all men, and we all banter and everything else. But I don't think there's one guy, if he was not truthful, for saying that you have to have a good woman to make a good relationship of your family. And
well, it's the start of your family, like you said.
Undoubtedly. True.
100% agree with you on that one. What's the best piece of advice you've ever received?
I would say when I found out that, because I left the army, I was a lorry driver. Then I set up my own roofing and building business. And then back in the time of Margaret Thatcher and all that, there was the high interest rates. So we went bankrupt. And we had bad times, which with your mum and dad, they had them as well and everything else. I then found out that I was better at the gift of the gab, talking as a salesperson, than I was physically with my hands. And sales manager said to me once, he said, if you're going to go out and you talk to people, treat them as if they were selling to you. And basically, when I go and see anyone now, I'm very, very objective rather than subjective. And I've carried that all the way through.
Yeah, okay.
That's
good. I think something for me on that one would be you can't please everyone. It's for me, and like I said it earlier, like I've kind of lived on the motto. I've always been like, I'll be nice to everyone I meet and stuff and that. And I feel like when I've had difficult conversations with that person or something's gone wrong, and I may or may have done something wrong myself or something, I don't know. Or sometimes I'd be like, have I done something wrong or not? And sometimes, like we said before, it's not maybe you, it's them projecting, like that kind of thing. And I always take that to heart a lot. And I just and I think the thing is, I've got to kind of carry on with, can't please everyone in the world. No. Not everyone's going to like you. No, not always going to agree with something everyone. As much as you try to do it, it's going to be an impossible task. And I kind of feel like, that kind of advice is I can't please everyone. And I got to kind of like.
And do you know the worst thing for that, Shaun? It's fucking texting.
Yeah.
Because.
Yeah, I agree on that. Yeah,
texting, you mean it. The person is texting you.
Misinterpret.
And
It does, yeah.
and stuff and everything else.
Yeah.
Don't we?
Yeah.
I always
We're
prefer
all
face-to-face or phone calls. I've said that.
Yeah,
And
same.
everything I
I'm
do.
a great believer. If you've got a problem with someone and you're really pissed off with it or whatever,
Yeah.
call them up, meet them in a neutral place, sit them down and go, right, Shaun, I don't know what it is, but I've upset you. What is it? And all that. And then basically talk about it like adults.
Yep.
And you may not agree. You may agree. But you're doing it face to face rather than over the
Hash it
phone and
out.
stuff.
Yeah.
Hash it out. And actually, you will end up having more respect for each other for doing that.
Will.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Anything on the air? Or
Probably just be true to yourself in all walks of life and be honest.
Yeah.
And your morals will carry you the rest of the way.
Yeah.
But I think you're true to yourself with everything you do, an argument, you know, a decision, a conversation.
Yeah.
Well, if you're being true to yourself, I don't think you can put fault in how you are as a person.
No, 'cause-
and no one can fault you for that.
No,
No.
exactly, yeah.
And I think you're right, Shaun. You're never, ever, there's too many people in this world to please
yeah,
and stuff.
Oh,
like
yeah,
that.
stuff like that.
And the point is, we all know 90% will understand, oh, yeah, I get what Shaun's saying. But that 10%, they want to suck the negativity and this and that out of you. And that actually isn't good for your mental health and stuff and everything else, relationships and
Yeah,
everything
and
else.
even if the percentage is like 90%, I don't.
Yeah, I know
So
exactly. Yeah,
fucking
there's
what?
what, yeah.
It don't matter.
Yeah.
You
don't
I
matter.
said all of it, like three of us around this table. We've got our good group of family and friends between us and stuff, and we, you know,
Yeah.
you have that. You might
Yeah.
not have 1,000 friends, you know. You've got
Yeah.
a good core group, haven't you?
Yeah.
What's something you've learned the hard way?
The hard way.
You might have already touched on it before a little bit, but
Yeah, like certainly money things and
There's money things, but also is
friendships as well.
friendships. Yeah, but I think the hardest thing that is when I was 16, I was running with a gang that were prolific robbery people.
okay.
And we went to Cardiff and we smashed a jewelry shop, took watches and stuff. And I got caught by this great big massive sergeant. And he turned around to me and said, if you don't change your life and everything else, you're going to end up over there. And it was Cardiff prison and
Okay.
stuff and everything else. And that's when I realised that this is no good doing what you're doing and everything. You can be Jack the Lad, you can be a little bit of a Del boy and all that.
Yeah.
But if you go down this road, and bearing in mind back then, robbery, beating up and all that was the main thing. It's not like now where you got your cokes and your drugs and things.
yeah.
Because I think if I was into that now, I would never have been able to come out of it.
Yeah.
Whereas there, I came back, and that's when I decided then to go into the army. And I'll always be thankful to the army because the army literally came. You know, in Bristol, we got the Wells Road. We got the Wells Road and we got the Bath Road.
Yeah.
I could have gone
Yeah.
the Bath Road
Yeah.
and would have whatever happened.
Yeah.
And I didn't. So I went to the army and I'll never regret that.
I think as well, you sometimes you obviously did realise, but sometimes you don't know how close you were in your life to going that other fork in the road.
Yeah.
And not knowing how
Drastically
you
change your way, massively.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
I think for me, something I learned the hard way is, and it's probably since I've gotten older, probably my last kind of 5 years of my job and that is, I kind of, with the job I do, I kind of grew up with of having that support around me. You know, I've got a manager now, but I had like a manager before. Obviously, you're training, you're coming up and stuff and that, and you've always kind of almost not got backfall, but you do have that kind of backfall, someone to rely on.
Yeah.
And it's like as I've progressed and I've got to the point where I am now, it's kind of like I haven't got that so much. You have to learn to kind of, well, this is my job. I'm good at it, but I can't rely on someone else to kind of fall back on. Like, you know, obviously you get coached and I've got my manager and stuff, but it's like I am kind of a person there, so it's kind of like,
Yeah.
you know, I have to work hard and I improve and do what I do now.
But you know what I also think makes it harder for you now is working from home.
Yeah, it's been a big change. Yeah,
because again, if you think when you work in your office, there is 5 or 6 of you, and I'll give you an example now. We know of someone that works at Abbey Wood.
Yeah.
Right, and they were saying literally that the people there now only come into the office 2 days a week.
Yeah.
But they're dealing with things like nuclear submarines and ammunition and all that. Whereas before, I'd be going, oh, right, what do I need? Clarke, Shaun, can you come and do this?
Yeah, I agree on that.
Within an hour.
Yeah.
Oh, right, well, we need to do this, do that. Now, you've got to send an email.
Yeah.
You've got to wait, and then you've got to wait 6 weeks before that person will be in the office then. To answer a question that is costing us millions and millions of pounds.
Yeah.
You know?
No, you're true. That has been a big change since COVID, working from home and having that flexibility. There is a lot harder. Like I said, you be in that office, you can bounce off each other so much easier. Then now it's like, oh, our team's called in, they don't answer. I'm waiting a couple of hours or whatever.
That's if they answer the team.
Oh, that's it. Yeah.
That's true.
One of the worst things I hate, and luckily I don't get involved too many times, but when we've had them and you're there and you know there's Clarke on there, there's Steve on there and all that, but you can only see 2 of their faces. They've left something blank and all that.
Yeah.
What is the point?
They turn the cameras off and stuff like that.
Are they there? Are they actually there or whatever, you know?
Or they're making a sandwich in the background while their cameras off. What about you, bro? What's something you might have learned the hard way?
I'd probably say love, to be honest with you. Like, not family-wise, obviously, it's great.
I know what you mean.
But relationship love.
Yeah.
First relationship of mine was, obviously, I love and give everything 110%. But I was, massively mistreated, cheated on, took for granted.
Yeah. Trust,
everything. And I thought, like, for a lot of it, because when you're in it, you don't see the outside of it. But when I thought, like, oh, must how a relationship would be, because there would obviously be good moments.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Then, obviously, loads of stuff happened. I found out loads of stuff happened. And that was tough, because obviously I loved and gave 100%. But quite clearly, it led on to much better.
Without a doubt.
Because I found lids from that.
Yeah.
But I'd say love.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good one. I like that. We've kind of mentioned it earlier, but what's a trait or habit you admire in others but struggle with yourself? We kind of touched on it a little bit earlier. If I was going to jump in straight away, I didn't mention it earlier, it's probably confidence. So I struggle quite a bit with being a confident person. So in work, maybe speaking out if I want to say a comment or say, oh, maybe we should do this and that. Sometimes I stuff like that, but I can be I'm a people person. I will talk and stuff like that, but just, I don't know, having that confidence just to go ahead and just do something and jump, like us starting this podcast and stuff now, like, a little bit like,
there you are doing that there.
Yeah, we're doing it now, and I am amazingly thankful for what we're doing and all the support we're getting from everyone and how we've grown it so far. But that was probably like a confidence issue and stuff like that in terms of like to go for it and stuff. Yeah, I know. But I think still through at the moment, I struggle with just, should I do that, should I not? Risk adverse almost, I suppose. Yeah, so
it is, but I think also it's harder now, because whereas I've always said, if you make a mistake, it's not a mistake.
Yeah,
you learn from it.
Yeah.
If you do that mistake three times in your job, say estimating, and you've overvalued the roofing by 2 million every time for whatever reason, then there's something actually wrong. But if you've only done it once and then you got it right and you
learn from your mistakes,
then you learn from it,
Yeah. So.
Question was, what's a trait or habit you admire in others, but you struggle with yourself potentially? Yeah.
I'm very, very confident in talking, and putting my point across in that. I don't think sometimes I do myself justice, because I could put it actually more eloquent or more. Because sometimes if I'm getting annoyed, it end up with
full. Tactful.
Yeah, tactful, I think sometimes. Yeah, because I'd be a bull in the china shop, F and Jeff and blah, 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 and everything, and go away, and I don't think, I was a dick.
Yeah.
But I suppose sometimes like it's a generational thing. Like back then, that's how you got things done. Sometimes you had to be like that, and it is a changed world now a bit. Not the right. It's not saying it's the right or wrong way, but that was
But I see why.
Yeah.
But if I was a little bit more, you do it very well. And when I've listened to the podcasts, you both do it very well. you know yourselves when you see people on the telly and all that, they've asked them a question and they've come back with like a 6-sentence thing, and you think, oh wow, yeah, that's really good. That's what I sort of mean. Whereas mine would be a 2-word answer. Fuck off.
Yeah.
You've actually done really well on this podcast, sir.
Yeah.
You've done really well.
Yeah.
Really good.
But this is. I love all this because to me, we're not doing a podcast.
Yeah.
We're having a beer out. And this doesn't happen.
Yeah.
That's how we treat every week. Just having a beer and
but
chatting.
The point is, this doesn't happen.
Yeah, you're right.
In the universe a lot and everything else because we talked about it, the phones, TV, streaming and everything. Yeah. I would love to do this once a month, 4 or 5 guys, or whatever it is, and you say, right, we're going to meet and we're going to chat for a couple of hours because what's nice also is you say what you want to say, and we listen, you say.
Yeah.
But when you're out doing this, you've got the noise background, there's
distractions.
and everything else.
Yeah, you're right.
And I love conversation, whether it's religion, politics, or whatever.
No, it doesn't matter.
Because it's great to hear other people's views and all that.
Thought-provoking.
Okay.
I would say probably. I'd say you both do it. You do it definitely, though. I think Dad does as well. It's like
we all fart.
It's been more unapologetically positive.
Okay.
To some people, even because in my head, if someone does it, I'm like, oh, I don't think I'm going to be petty. I'm not going to do something back. Or it's not petty if it happens again, but I will not be the first to initiate, or I'll still be carrying a grudge sometimes. Right. Whereas I know you do sometimes as well, but not as much. But you will give people the benefit of doubt and be like, all right, I'll crack on. And I wish I could. But for me, if I'm wronged, I'm like, I have to tell you I'm wrong.
Yeah.
And sometimes you don't always need to tell someone that they've wronged you.
Yeah.
Whereas me, I'm feeling like, got to be held accountable. Got to do this. Oh, you've done this to me. I have to tell you why. But sometimes I see it. You don't.
But that's part of me. Sort of
it is. It is. Yeah. But you don't always have to do that.
No.
Sometimes you can, even if they haven't done wrong in your mind, forgive, forget, just move on with it. And I know you do that really, really well. And you do that as well to a certain extent.
There's one thing I would say to the two of you, and I've always said this, Clarke, is, and to your listeners and everything out there, is don't look back.
Yeah.
There's nice things to look back on, you know, with the babies, your families and everything. Yeah. But if you keep looking over your shoulders, like something that happened 6 months ago, 8 months ago, you're dragging that with you every time you go through that door. Yeah. And that can have serious effects to your mental health and things.
Massively,
what you do and all that. So don't, you know, if someone's wronged you, don't carry the baggage with you. Let it go, release it. Yeah. And just get on with your life.
Yeah.
You know?
No, that's really good advice. That is. Yeah. Live in the moment, really, innit? Yeah. You know, live in the present and stuff and that. Okay, that's really good. Something me and Clarke have answered before, so it'd be good just to get your thoughts on this. And you've kind of mentioned it a bit earlier yourself, but if you could give your 18-year-old self one sentence of advice, what would it be?
God. I'm 18 years old. I'm looking at my 18-year-old self. What I would do is, given, I've touched a bit about education, because again, we all know, we see it and stuff. That's why you still got your Etons and your Oxfords. If you can get a good education for your children, it will help them. Yeah. But I also think. I would bring life values to my 18-year-old and just say, look, you're on this journey. We've all heard of the journey, the train journey and everything else, right? You're on that train journey, and you're going to stop at many stations, and you're going to have laughs, you're going to have tears and all that. Yeah. So learn from it. Like we said, if you make a mistake but you don't do it again, you've learned, so it's not a mistake. You know. If you've got baggage, get rid of the baggage. Find someone that loves you and is on the same wavelength with you. Yeah. And surround yourself with positivity, not negativity. Yeah. That's what I would say. And that's quite a few things in there to say to an 18-year-old. Yeah. But I just think that you're not gonna have that too long to wait. You got Mason and you got
and Isla,
when they're 18, you got a little bit longer and all that. But me saying to my 18-year-old self, compared to what you've got to say, is chalk and cheese.
Yeah,
because we probably only had to worry about that.
Yeah.
We've got a lot more. Yeah.
And that's without going into politics or whatever it is.
Safety,
religion and
definitely. Yeah.
I think, I mean, we said it before. I suppose I kind of wrap it up on that one would be, I suppose, like, your life isn't defined as how you start, kind of thing. So your life, you might have that thing when you're 18-year-old. You might think, you might be, unfortunately, might go down the wrong route in life, or you might go the right route. You might have a job, and you might not like your job, but your life isn't defined by how you start.
No,
it will drastically change, and that's proven by multiple people around the world. Their lives have changed when they're 40, 50, 60, and that's the time. So I think like that kind of would be that. So the only last one I've got on here is a little bit of, I don't know how we'd answer it, but what's your biggest fear now versus when you were younger?
My biggest fear now
versus when you were younger,
it's for you, both, and your families and children. I just think that where we are in the world, and again, there's too much happening here, right? That needs to be sorted out.
Yeah.
And we should sort it out for all people living in this country.
Yep.
Right. And I'm not singling anyone out, but we need to do that. We're too quick, and this is something that I think you touched upon. As a nation, we're too quick to please everyone in the world, even if it's at the expense of the people that live in this country.
Yeah.
And I'll chuck that out there. I'm talking about carbon, and everything else that we've got to be net zero by 35. I understand. I got grandchildren. You got children and everything. We got to protect them.
Yeah.
But we've also got to be able to live and grow this country and stuff and everything else.
Yeah.
So there's too much of that and everything else. Also, the worry, we got the orangutan in America. He wakes up, whatever happens, he'll say something today, and then he'll wake up tomorrow and it's completely different.
Yeah.
And I can't believe a guy who's good at business can believe some of the bullshit that he comes out with. And that JD Vance, I'd love to. I'm 69, but I'd love to meet him in a ring and punch his bloody lights out. He is the biggest wanker going, and for him to it just goes to show they don't know their history in America, Europe, and the world. To say that we didn't stand by him in Afghanistan and all those things. But so my biggest worry is the next 50 years.
Like the world that we're growing up in.
Because we got him for 4 years. Yeah. So he's going to be a pain in the ass for 4 years.
And that's it.
And that's going to have a knock-on effect to the people that live in America.
Yeah, of course.
Because they don't have it brilliant over there. They're struggling for jobs.
Yeah.
Food is expensive. Yeah. They don't have the holidays that we have, etc., etc. Yeah. So that has a knock-on effect over there.
Yeah.
And then he's going on to the Mexicans, Canada, and we're everywhere,
Yeah.
Yeah. And then all that has a ripple effect back to here.
Yeah.
And then we got our problems. And I'm not talking immigration, I'm talking internal problems with the strikes and the things and all that. Why don't someone start telling the truth? Tell people the truth. Yeah. This is what we need to do.
Yeah.
He started doing it. That's why he got in, but I think it's gone to his head. I'm not on about that. I don't want someone to come in and say, I'm going to do this, when he gets in his chair. But tell, why are we contributing all this money, but we only affect 0.10 of the climate? Yeah. So why are we having why is our electric and gas and yours
ridiculous,
the highest in the world?
Yeah, it is. It's ridiculous.
Right?
They got caps in other countries and stuff, haven't they?
Everything else.
I think the biggest fear for me now would probably be something like, am I making the right life decisions at the moment for me and my family? Am I doing the right things? Am I, like you said, we're bringing children up in this world. Am I doing the right things for my children? Am I doing, we said last week, didn't we? We said like being a parent is the hardest job in the world with no training, right? So every child's different. But am I, looking at myself, am I doing the right things I need to do for my children?
Yeah.
Am I doing the right things I'm doing in my job, my profile? Am I setting myself up how I should want to in life? Because everyone's different. That's kind of my biggest fear. I'm thinking now I'm like, mid-30s. I could have 30 years or something now. I'm thinking, am I doing the right things at the moment? And that's probably my biggest fear at the moment. Like trying to figure. There's a lot to figure out. I know, but
Well, someone looking in who's known you since you were little, running around in your nappies and stuff and all that, you've done really, really well. I remember also when you started your quantity surveying and who you worked for, where you are now, what you're doing, right? Your children and stuff and everything else. So you're never going to get it right.
No, I know.
I said to Clarke, and I say to a lot of people, there are books about babies, but there isn't a right book because every single baby is different. All you're going to get is a little bit of information.
Yeah.
When that baby comes along, that baby is individual as a leaf on a tree and stuff and everything else.
Sure.
And you just go with what you think's right.
Yeah.
You will make some mistakes, but you just go it because everything's not the same.
Yeah.
But from what you were saying, I understand because you got to think, what am I doing? How I'm doing it? Don't beat yourself up because you've done really, really well.
Yeah,
appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah,
I know that I can because you're my godson, but as a person to a person and an older person, you're doing all right. You've done really, really well. And you've done well.
Thank you, sir. No, I appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, and also as well, I think like certainly.
Well, you're a different subject now.
Talking about your family, it's like if you can see how your kids are turning out.
Yeah,
you do have a part to play in that, and that can give you confidence that you're making certain life decisions.
Yeah, 100%.
But if they're turning up and you can be proud of them, then obviously you're doing a good job. To do that. So I think obviously your kids are great.
Yeah, no, thank you.
They're like I'm great. So Dad obviously did a good job.
Well, I'll give you some that I read just before I come over here today.
Yeah,
because I'm still old fashioned like that. I do read the paper and everything else. There's a school union that are sending letters to the children at this particular school. I won't say where it is, not it's down here, it doesn't make any difference. But they're sending letters to the school parents because they are telling the parents that you have got to take responsibility for your child when he comes to our school, that he's effing and jeffing, hitting them, not doing things and one thing and another. And the parents are saying, well, they're in your control, so you should be parenting them. But they're not their parents. So where's that change from when I would be sending you to school and you go to learn? Yes, teachers, we know teachers can be annoying and might be dicks and whatever.
Yeah, that's a cop-out there.
But that is a cop-out.
Yeah, it is.
You know? And another one was where nursery children are going and they're 5 years of age still in nappies because they haven't been potty trained. But they're expecting the nursery people
to do it.
Yeah,
that's neglect, isn't it?
Don't have the children there. You know?
No, you're right. Yeah.
Sorry to be a bit heavy, but I just...
No, it's all good stuff.
I just find that really,
you're right.
strange.
Yeah, you're fine.
Because, again, racism and stuff and everything else, when a black baby's born and when a white baby's born, there's no difference in them other than colour.
Yeah, it's learned.
They're grown up.
Yeah.
They learn it.
Yeah.
They learn it.
Yeah.
Wherever you live or anything else, you've got a family, if they're, for whatever reason, they've never worked, the child realises that. So you do it. Everything is always at home. It's always at home.
Yeah, 100%.
It's all taught.
So don't blame anyone else, just blame yourself.
Yep.
Clarke.
Anything to you add on that? Biggest fear?
Probably just the fear of not being able to always be able to look after Bella and Roman.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, at some point that
will have to
go. I mean, obviously that's a fear that every parent has.
100%.
That's the only thing that I can think of at the moment. Like, I know I got them, I can protect them, they're sorted.
Yeah.
But
okay.
Yeah.
It's fine.
It's a different culture
So-
altogether now, isn't it?
Yeah, that was a little bit deeper questions. Some really good stuff there, I thought, actually, from all three of us to talk about. So appreciate your words on it, Terry, as well, and your thoughts on it.
Are you going to talk about the beers?
I was going to let Clarke do it, yeah.
All right.
So did you want to say, I'll present them. Why have
By
we
the way,
got 4 beers here?
sponsored Beers of Europe. Thank you very much.
Yes. Want to speak about each one?
You can say which beers we've got here and just say why we got them here and what we're doing,
We've got the Alhambra, which I will say whenever we do this in a taste test, it will be right up there because it is
You're never going to get that in a taste test because we know what it would be.
Yeah,
It's a great beer.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal beer from España. This is a
Lion Lager, which I believe is from Sri Lanka.
Sri Lanka, lovely.
Yeah.
I love the a Flensburger. Gold.
So this is a German beer, yeah.
Another favourite of mine that I've had before. Brilliant. Love the pop cap.
Yeah.
And what last?
And the Westmalle one, that is a, we talked about Trappist monks being the best in the world of Belgium. That is a Belgian Trappist monks brewery one.
Well, obviously, we've got all these 4 amazing beers because we are doing a giveaway.
It's our first one, yeah.
Yeah, our first giveaway. We're mentioning it on our 10th episode, but you would have seen it on the socials.
It's only one bottle. It's only one bottle.
Yeah, so obviously enter.
I've already entered, by the way. I've already entered.
Yeah, via you obviously we've got our link tree, but it's via our Instagram page. You can enter on there. So like, follow us, and comment, and tag 2 people in the comments, and then we will be running it on the 4th of May, which is a Sunday after we do our podcast. We do a live stream.
Yeah,
and we will do the live draw then of the winner. And then we will, like I said, we will pay for all the postage and ship these out to whoever is the lucky winner.
Just those 4 beers.
Just those 4 beers. Yeah.
Well, I'll double it.
Okay.
There we go. Okay.
Okay,
You've heard it there. You go. We're doubling it up now.
8 beers, and you're not going to win now.
Yeah, you can't win. Yeah.
Yeah. 8 beers. Yeah, and obviously make sure you're over 18. And
That's that really.
What
So
they are there for. They're not just ornaments.
yeah. So it kind of brings us. That's basically the end of this episode. So hopefully,
just before you finish, sorry to interrupt. You know when you send these the prize and everything else.
Yep.
You want them to send their scorers in for the beers. So
Good idea.
Good idea. Yeah. You rate the beers and send them in to us, and then let us know.
Let us know. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how right or wrong you are.
But it brings us to the end of this episode. So hopefully you enjoyed it, both listeners and viewers. It's something different. Like I say, it's our 10th episode, so we're happy. We've got to 10 episodes.
Yeah.
It's our first guest, so thank you, Terry, for coming on.
Thank you for
and being a very good guest as well, actually.
Yeah.
It's made it flow really quick, actually.
Well,
it's gone, but it feels quick.
Pretty much 1 hour 56.
Wow.
So we have, it's a long episode, but it's been good, and I've enjoyed it.
I've enjoyed it.
And we've talked a lot of good things. Hopefully you can relate or, give your own thoughts on things as well.
But anything that we've spoken about that you want to comment about, agree with, disagree with, anything, just let us know. We love the interaction.
Yes.
Really appreciate the questions. And just aim it towards me and Sean because Dad will get pissed off.
Yeah. Don't play.
I'll have the final word by saying I thoroughly enjoyed today.
I'm glad.
Thank you.
It's been really, really good to spend time with you again.
Yeah.
I know we get time, but to be like this, just like going out to the pub and we've had a beer
That's
and
good.
we've had a good chat.
It's good.
It really has
been
been
nice. I really enjoyed it.
That's the setting we wanted to create for men.
Yeah.
But it's been really nice, hasn't it?
Really good.
So
I love you all.
And
and
so
you, Dad.
on that, we will see everyone later, and we'll see you on the next one. Cheers, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.